Okay, we're all here. Welcome to the stream. It's a Thursday. We are going to build Death and Taxes from the ground up, XJ style. I mean XJ style because I think at its core, a deck like this, there are some personal decisions you can make in deck building. Yorion or not, how many white sources to play, what creatures to play, what equipment to play. I think it's not as simple as people like to say for a creature deck to build it. In fact, it's like a little bit more open in a lot of ways because not like 12 slots in your deck aren't like eaten up by like cantrips or forcibles or something like that. Does that sound accurate to you?
Yeah. There are a lot of like cards that people would assume are just like quote unquote like D&D staples or whatever. But
Well, Wasteland and Port are D&T staples. Let's not go crazy. Well, let's get the easy ones out of the way. So I'm interested to ask you, should we Yorion or not right now, and why or why not?
so I played Yorion this past weekend in the Sunday challenge, and I did not do very well. But small sample size. Definitely haven't played enough to know for certain if Yorion is the correct decision. But I think the argument for 80 versus 60 is a lot closer than it was pre-ban. I thought that Yorion was like pretty heavily favored in the pre-ban meta. The big reason for that, I wrote a whole article about it because people kept rehashing the same arguments. But basically, it's just trading some consistency in drawing your quote unquote good cards for just the raw power of a card like Yorion. And I really valued consistency in like the budding new legacy meta because you were just going to kind of play against all sorts of random nonsense. So you really just kind of wanted to execute your like plan A as consistently as possible. But we are kind of getting into a more consolidated meta now with like Rug Delver, Bant, Miracle stuff sitting at the top. So there's a good chance that Yorion can make a comeback, but I'm not quite ready to confidently pull that trigger yet. So I could probably get by with just building a pretty reasonable 60.
And I don't know if you notice, Colin Roundtree, I assume.
Yeah.
Fantastic player. Actually, I've tested with him for some tournaments, some PT level events. Obviously knows his legacy stuff. He has two legacy GP Toppy. It's actually one with a deck that he wasn't going to play if I went to Mox Diamonds at that tournament, but I did not win to Mox Diamonds, and I don't think he can be unhappy with the outcome because he made top 8 with a blue-white mentor AK nonsense. But he recently did well in the MTGO PTQ last weekend with D&T, and also, love to hate or not, Yorion Esper Vial was the other finalist. Another Aether Vial deck, but a very, I would say D&T and Esper Vial play very differently in terms of what they're trying to do, their exact game plans. When I look at Esper Vial, I see a deck that can actually out-engine almost any other deck in the format if Soul Herder goes long enough. When I look at D&T, it's where it feels like you're trying to constrain them for just long enough for some creatures to kill them. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Yeah, that sounds about how I feel. I tried Esper Vial. I thought a lot of like the play patterns of just like kind of playing a white Vial creature deck would kind of carry over, but I found it really hard to pick up Esper Vial. I got just held up on a lot of the different decision trees you have to make with that deck. There's just a lot. Yeah, it's a lot less cut and dry. But maybe that's just because I've played D&T for like 7 years.
Well, that's probably part of it. And the other thing is, I think if I had to guess, that deck actually plays more like modern War Prison than actually a Death and Taxes style deck, where you try to like just cut off all of their things with Meddling Mage, and like you have a bunch of tutors to like set up Peacekeeper locks and stuff like that. And your deck is like, it is 80 cards. I mean, you are playing Brainstorm, so I don't know. It's like kind of a weird mishmash of a lot of things going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But enough about that. I think Death, clearly, if Colin did well, Death and Taxes is at least reasonable. But also, like, obviously he's like quite good with the deck, if I had to.
The following day, Aaron Relentless made top 8 with Death and Taxes as well in the challenge, I think.
All right. So
if I'm remembering correctly.
All the hyping up aside, you give it to me straight. How do you think it should be built right now? or how do you want to start out by building it? Both are acceptable starting points in my opinion.
I think D&T. A big thing about 60 card D&T is it has kind of started to consolidate a lot more like staples than it has in the past, and it feels you feel a lot more constrained in your main deck, like flex cards. Roundtree kind of tossed that out the window and played a very weird build.
I know, and in fact, Colin actually messaged me. He's like, "Yo, do I have to win the tournament, or is top 2 enough?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So actually, he wasn't sweating his top 4 match at all. He's like, "Yeah, even if I win this one, I still have to win the finals." Then he made the finals and then found out he was qualified anyways. He's like, "Wow, I just completely did that in the opposite order," which is really funny. But I think it's probably for the best. I don't think Esper Vile is the matchup you're looking for as DNT a lot of the time, frankly.
Yeah.
I think that's actually probably one of your harder ones because both of you have similar amounts of mana, but their deck is a 3rd color, and their Aether Vials are quite good as well. So a lot of it's I think I would hesitate to say favored or not. I think who plays better in that matchup is going to win a large portion of the time, is what I actually suspect is supposed to happen.
Yeah, it's really close matchup I've found. It got a lot better with Skyclave Apparition. All of your Aether Vial matchups got better with Skyclave. Okay, all of your matchups in general got better with Skyclave, but
yeah,
specifically being able to answer Aether Vials in Aether Vial mirrors when you don't have one means that you're like just a lot less of just a dog because your opponent had Aether Vial and you didn't.
All right, speaking of which, I'm going to assume that these cards you can't really touch. Thalia, Mother of Runes, Stoneforge Mystic, in my mind, they're key linchpins of the deck, right?
Pretty much. Sometimes you'll see people shave to like 3 moms, but not often.
Actually, interesting you brought that up. Stefan and I were playing Maverick on Tuesday. I don't know if you caught that at all. We actually went 4-1, and I actually noticed that Mother of Runes was not that insane in Maverick, funnily enough. I think what's really going on there is Maverick has a lot more mana, so playing a 1 mana protection creature is sometimes not the best, It's a divergent, topic that I just had on my mind, but maybe there are times where it's right to shave one, but I think I would usually default to starting 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Also in chat, comical flip. If we split our plans, I am going to leave the stream. I won't
don't worry. No. You see my screen, right?
Yes, I see Jarvis has elected the correct decision.
I'm not going to do that. I might do that in an IRL tournament where I know people are playing that deck, but for now I'm not going to. And I'm just not going to do it out of respect for you.
I appreciate it.
So, Roundtree actually played a ton of Revokers, but I think I'm only going to play 1 in my main deck.
Yeah. Roundtree's list looked like a 2018 Death and Taxes list that just discovered that Skyclave Apparition got printed.
Dom says, if I don't play an Iganjo Castle, he's leaving the stream instead. Oh, shit. Oh, we got a Yama raid, 105. Sweet. Thank you.
The last time I registered a Ganjo Castle was probably like 2013, and it wasn't good then, but...
Yeah. Speaking of Stoneforge, I think we have to play a Batterskull and Jite and Sword of Fire and Ice, right?
Yeah, that's just like the very stock 3 equipment. It has not changed since. It used to... long time ago, we used to not play Sword of Fire and Ice all the time, but then after True Name Nemesis got printed, I think that card...
Yeah. That works a lot. And also, really just Sophie is a very good card in an Aether Vial deck. Like, it's just kind of broken. That's actually... Sophie was so good versus out of Maverick. And Stefan made an interesting point where he thought Batterskull was not that good in Maverick, but makes more sense in D&T because Maverick needs more... Maverick has Birds of Paradise, first off, sometimes, or stuff like that. Second off, like, Script Ranger, it's really good with. And also the creatures in Maverick are just bigger on average, so putting a Sophie on something, it's just not that easy to block, right?
Yeah.
But again, I'm sort of drawing different conclusions. 2 recruiters, I assume?
Yeah, 2 recruiters, fairly stock. A lot of my D&T opinions at this point have gotten to the point where like a lot of this stuff is locked in, so I have ideas that are like, maybe we should try doing the X, Y, or Z, but like none of them are like founded in any sort of like reasoning or actual playability. It's just like Recruiter has like started to be like almost a little bit clunky.
Mhm.
It's like still a really powerful card, especially in your deck with obviously a million different things to tutor for, Flicker Wisp Engine, Skyclave Apparition, stuff like that. But it just we have so many great cards already. It feels sometimes can feel like a little bit like a slow fillery card.
Question for you: how many Flicker Wisps, or actually, just tell me what you think the creature should be right now? Might be easier.
Um, right now to fill out like what I would consider uncuttable, I would probably play a third wisp almost all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're probably gonna end up on 4, but 3 is definitely like the baseline at least.
All right, I'm down for 4.
1 Sanctum Prelate, almost always stock as well.
Makes sense. Yep.
Didn't know Deathmark Prelate was a card.
Oh, that's from Legions. Legions has a lot of. So, do you know the gimmick of Legions?
I don't. Not
It's all creatures. So it's a lot of. There's a lot of. That's why Gem Palm Incinerator and those like of cards are in Legions, because they couldn't print actual removal spells because the gimmick was all creatures. Fun fact. I know so much useless trivia. The same Alara Reborn is all gold cards.
I did know that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit newer for me.
All right.
Debo, whatever in chat. Arcampulans suitable for D&T. Yeah, you can usually play between like 0 and 2 depending on the meta. Well, we might end up on like 1 here. We'll see.
Also, I'm not sure if you know this. Colin is friends with Alan, and I know Alan Wu loves to play a higher land count, so that's why he played like a bunch of canopies or whatever. That's just really dependent on how you want to build your deck.
He broke the D&T server for like several months when he theory crafted 27 land D&T with like 4 canopies, and everyone like had these terrible ideas trying it. Don't put that Mistress Factory in the deck.
You don't like Mistress Factory?
I have strong feelings about the number of Cola sources that D&T plays.
Okay.
And it's too many.
Am I allowed to put Silent Clearing, or are you going to leave over that one?
Would you rather put in Horizon Canopy?
I mean, not to actually meme, but I do think the Surgical or Dismember thing, if we play either of those cards, actually matters.
It doesn't, but sure, you can play Silent Clearing if you want.
I wanted to know how mad it would make you.
It's tolerable. It's good art at least. Seb McKinnon, right?
Oh yeah. Sev has made a lot of good art. A lot of it has actually been Golgari based instead of I don't know how to put this. So the 3 empty slots, I'm not sure what they normally are. We have 24 lands, which I think is reasonable. 4 Vial, 4 Mother Runes.
Can we stack by CMC for a second?
It is stacked by CMC.
No.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, the pile's stacking. Okay. So yeah, probably a traditional list would be filled out with like more 2-drops, and yeah, I think this is pretty close to like the 60 that I've been like messing with usually.
Yeah, but there's just 3 empty slots which remain to be filled.
But yeah, so a big thing is that Skyclave Apparition basically means that you don't really get to play flex 3-drops a lot anymore.
Right.
It just overall increased the CMC of the deck and kind of took quote unquote took the place of Phyrexian Invoker in a lot of ways. But it made the curve a little bit more awkward. So I like to try to flesh out the 2-drops a lot more with like cards like Spirit of the Labyrinth. You can play like more Revokers, but I really don't think that card is good.
So I think Colin's reasoning for playing a bunch of Revokers was it's good in the matchups where he felt kind of scared, like the bullshit matchups. Revokers, I think, generally pretty solid.
I also saw him comment that, but I also just disagree that Revoker is what you want in the bullshit matchups in 2021.
Okay.
It's just like Spirit of the Labyrinth's better versus Elves, better versus Doomsday. Probably like a little bit worse versus like Sneak and Show, I guess.
Right.
And maybe a little bit worse versus like Storm, but those are the combo matchups you're already better against anyway.
So maybe we should just play like 2 Spirits and something else.
Yeah, 2 Spirits. You could play like a 3rd Skyclave. We could play a Palace Jailer.
Oh, I thought you were the most anti.
I'm pretty anti Palace Jailer.
Yeah. I'm actually also anti it. just because I think it's really volatile.
Yeah, it's a very, very swingy card. Sometimes you can take over a game, but sometimes you're just kind of getting into positions where you'll draw it and you're like, okay, I'm not going to cast this, and then you just lose the game.
Not to make you mad or anything, but everyone's memeing about aspirants and splitting basics and shit.
Aspirant.
They knew who they're talking to, pretty much.
Yeah, I have one of my channel or my channel point redemptions is talking shit about it. It's truly a meme.
It's funny because for your hatred of it in this format, I actually do think you understand it's good in Modern.
I understand like when and where it's good in terms of like decks, even like a world that you could play it in Death and Taxes. I get it, but it's also really bad.
Oh, should we play a main deck Ballista? Actually, I was thinking about that.
It's kind of like old tech. So like, what's the metagame breakdown you have in your head? It's just like Delver, Bant, like
some elves, some taxes.
Yeah, I think smattering of like combos.
So what I really feel like is it's mostly fair right now, which is why I want to play a card like that, and I think that card shines in fair matchups.
That's fair. We could maybe try one over like the third aspirant or not aspirant, apparition. Damn it!
Oh, you got into your own head.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, you just couldn't stop thinking about it.
They're from the same set. They're app something.
It's true. Yeah, Aspirant has seen play in Vintage, but that format is different and weird, mostly because it's a perfect card to cast off a Mox. Like, yeah. It's hard to like just Vintage plays some really weird cards that no other format does. Like Lavinia is insane in Vintage and like not great in most other formats. So, if you want Ballista, what you really need is Holy Light. I don't really agree with that, but
I registered Holy Light once.
Was it good?
No.
Okay.
You want it to be good, but it never is. It's like cool because it kills True Name and is like good against elves. I did one time cast a Holy Light in response to my opponent's Crater Hoof trigger, which was pretty great. But
it's pretty great, but yeah. So what else should we fill it out with? Probably like 2 Rest in Peace is pretty stock.
Yeah, 2 Rest in Peace pretty stock. I experimented with going down on Rest in Peace right at the start of the format because I thought that Rogue Delver would drop off a little bit, but then Rogue Delver came back. So
and in fact, the way Rogue is built is even weaker to this card now, I think, generally speaking.
Because they don't get Oko. Sometimes you would just cast your turn 2 Rest in Peace, and your opponent would shrug and cast a turn 3 Oko, and then you would lose the game. Now that doesn't happen.
That is what I would call it as strategic mismatch. It doesn't feel great. How do you feel about Path to Exile?
Path, definitely pretty stock in sideboards nowadays. You just want to load up on extra plows. There are a lot of creature matchups. Probably play like 2. It's like a pretty safe card. There are like a couple of different removal spell options, but none of them like have felt particularly interesting or better than Path. Like people have played Dismembers and Gut Shots and
I generally don't like doing that sort of thing because that's like all of those removal spells either cost you a lot of life or kind of unreliable, like to be quite fair.
Absolutely.
What's your opinion on this versus this?
I would play Old Border Path, but I really like the Rebecca Guai paths. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my paper paths.
Wait, so you have... No, which one?
The bottom right one.
Oh. I'm not going to lie, I actually don't know which artist does what because there's just so many arts nowadays. Like, look... Like this, the traditional one, and this, and I'm just like, I don't know who draws which. You could like, it could be like $1 million trivia question. I would just get it wrong and be like sad.
Yeah, there are a couple artists that I know. Rebecca Guai and Zed McKinnon are the big ones because they just do really, really good art.
So, what are your thoughts on Surgical?
I've never cast one off of Silent Clearing.
But I mean, generally playing it in the deck.
It's fine. The graveyard cards in Death and Taxes are usually somewhere around Rest in Peace, Surgical Extraction, Grafdigger's Cage. That's like mostly it.
People don't really play Priest. Usually,
right? Containment Priest, I guess, is another option. Containment Priest is a good one right now because Elves and Sneak and Gak is kind of on a low swing.
This one is kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why. Maybe because there's not so many arts. It's like this, or I guess this one. But whatever. That's a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yu-Gi-Oh Containment Priests.
You use Yu-Gi-Oh Containment Priests?
I mean, currently I do, at least. That was the only promo before.
Okay, yeah, but now you have a lot of options.
Yeah, now I have a lot of options.
You're probably going to switch to this one, aren't you?
Probably, yeah.
Right.
I switched the biggest upgrade, I think, was switching Rest in Peace to the Doggo Rest in Peace.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird for me, RL, because a lot of the cards I have are in Chinese, and I really like how the Chinese language looks, and reminds me of where my heritage or whatever. So it's really hard to justify switching to a different art, not OG printing, because it's kind of
totally reasonable. I own like a couple decks. I like to kind of promo them out in my own in particular ways depending on the deck. I have like promo foil Death and Taxes. I was like making Japanese non-foil Bomberman. For goblins, I was doing all different arts.
Oh gosh, you were that person. Oh, let me tell you a quick story. I once played at SCG Invitational. I was 6-2 after day one, and it was the first round of Modern in day one. I was playing Kiki Cord, the Hooglin Kiki combo deck that did I think Birthing Pod had been banned by this point, so my deck was obviously not as good. But I played against someone playing Tron. Each of their lands were antiquities, and they were different arts, and they were all in Japanese. I'm like, all right, are you going to tell me when you have Tron? And the guy's like, no. And I'm like, really? You want to do this? All right, I'll just call a judge every single time you play a Tron land to ask what it is. I couldn't actually believe it because it's such a huge waste of time.
Yeah.
And there's the mine that looks like a tower because it has a ladder leading up to it.
Yeah, the fact that you can get the Tron lands in a bunch of different languages, all with different arts, is extremely hilarious until you have to play against it.
I didn't really. I mean, it's a fine art decision to make. I think there are different island arts, but specifically for the Tron pieces, where some look really weird and can be misconstrued as different types, it was really, really annoying, and it didn't do anything except make me waste 7 more minutes of our match.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. We do have 7 more slots in the sideboard of this deck.
So I usually want to play 4 to 5 graveyard hate cards and Death and Taxes. Graveyard decks have kind of been on the down swing right now, so I'd probably play a Cage as my 4th.
Right, because that's nice coverage and where it's good.
Yeah, it's a nice elves / graveyard coverage. And then if we want a 5th, I'd probably play 1 Surgical Extraction.
I'm probably not going to. I think we can get away with this.
Reasonable. Yes, Cataclysm. Let's play some Cataclysms.
Probably 2 then?
Yeah. The banned decks are good. Cataclysm is good against them.
The art's really sweet. It's because it's the Weatherlight crashing into the Predator or something like that. Have you ever seen Predator flagship the card?
Yes, I used to play one in a mono green easy deck.
Have you seen Weatherlight the card?
I don't think so.
It was only printed in Dominaria. It took that long to print it. It's a 4 mana 4/5 vehicle. It has crew 3. And
that one. Okay,
yeah,
I didn't know if there was an old one.
Yeah.
Okay, I do. I vaguely remember the vehicle existing.
We can look it up because I actually do think it looks sweet. Oh, I guess it's kind of generic looking. I guess.
Wait, no, there is a Skyship Weatherlight. There is an old card.
No, there is an old one too. Oh, I'd forgotten that. Weird.
I don't know what this card
Why there 2?
Because they rebuilt it. Or something. I don't know. Lore.
Alright. 4 more slots. What should we do?
What else we got? We play a Council's Judgment.
Yeah, the only reason in my book to play Flagstones is for the synergy with whatchamacallit?
Cataclysm?
Yeah. I don't
probably play all the Flagstones in the mana base. Yeah. I always hate it because it just never feels like it comes up, and I just always feel like I'm going to get punished by it, even though the punishes are just extremely rare.
The punish is exactly Blood Moon, I think, right?
Blood Moon, back to basics, and when you're playing against Rug Delver and you board in Rest in Peace, and then they get to Wasteland you.
Oh, I think I've actually done that to someone now that you mentioned that.
Yeah, it does not feel good.
Yeah,
The moment
but,
it happens to you, you will immediately want to cut flagstones from your deck and never play it again.
uh, yeah, that's kind of funny. I remember playing Flaxlands in a lot of different decks. They usually involve Step Links and Plated Geopede, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Which is like a different usage of the card and completely opposite of what's going on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is kind of funny that a card like that you can use in a bunch of ways, though. All right.
Yeah, now everyone's playing Elvish Reclaimers.
Yeah. What else we got? It's always Pithing Needle, I guess, but it's not great.
Yeah, Pithing Needle is a card that like sometimes made it into sideboards, but like almost never felt like particularly interesting. What else? More anti-storm cards.
Canonist.
Yeah, we play a Canonist, or we play like Mindbreak Trap.
Probably not going to play Trap because I think it's like what was my reason for not wanting to play Trap? I don't remember. I had one.
It's not very good with Thalia, I'll tell you that.
It's fair. How do you feel about Gideon?
I think oftentimes Gideon is worse than Cataclysm. If we might need to be gearing on more for like the control decks, and we could play a card like Gideon because I think 3 Cataclysms is oftentimes really excessive.
Especially since like drawing 2 Cataclysms is probably much worse than drawing a Cataclysm and a Gideon.
Yeah, I have cast 2 Cataclysms in the same match a couple of times, not very often. But
yeah, I actually remember playing against D&T deep in GP Columbus. I was like 10-2, I think. Maybe I was 10-1. My opponent put Cataclysm on stack, and in response I Crozen gripped their Rest in Peace, and then they instantly lost.
Yeah. Cataclysm versus lands has had a long and weathered history of when
I don't think it's good, like generally speaking, but it depends a lot on how your deck is structured, I think, is the actual answer.
It's gone back and forth a lot. I was starting to lean towards it being like okay again in like the Field of the Dead lands era.
Yeah.
But
it really depends.
Enough against it lately.
I think it really depends, and it also I think depends on how many Rishadan ports they play is a big factor. If they play the full 4 ports, which a lot of lists don't, I'm less thrilled about it because it's like kind of sometimes you can actually get mana denied out by them like pretty easily.
Yeah, definitely can be hard to cast 4 mana spell versus lands. We only have 11 basics.
I think my favorite card versus D&T out of lands, which my opponents did not see coming back in the past, was Sylvan Safekeeper. And my opponent just looked at it and is like, how do I beat that card? I'm like, you generally don't, is what I told them. I wasn't even like trying to be mean. I was just like, yeah, that's what this card is for this matchup. Like, I've played Sulfur Elemental at points as well because of Monster Mentor and that GP as well, not just for D&T, but Mentor was a huge problem. So, Holy Light versus Safekeeper, that's true. I don't think any D&T player was going to side in Holy Light versus me, though.
Yeah, I've been gotten by Safekeeper versus Depths numerous times.
It's really strong in this matchup.
Yeah, good card.
What else do we want?
We play like a 3rd control card. People talking about Court of Grace over Gideon, which I've never actually tried Court of Grace.
Okay, you know what? There's a time for science.
And it's right now?
Yeah, I've actually played this one in like blue decks, and it's been pretty good. I do think the other court is generally better, but obviously you don't have options in this deck.
I think there's a chance that this card's better than Gideon. I just like haven't tried it.
Yeah, and the reason, actually, like the logical reason for that is if this gets killed, you're still up a lot. If Gideon gets killed, you're not up that much, right?
Yeah.
That's why I also liked Court of Cunning and Rogue forever. Like the same reason. If I didn't really care if they decayed my Court of Cunning, they're gonna lose to me drawing 2 cards over the course of the game. You know.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
There was a long part of the Legacy meta during like Deathrite, Grixis control stuff where I really wanted some sort of like white Bitter Blossom me effect, which I guess Court of Grace kind of can fill that role even if it's big and expensive.
Yeah, that's fair. We got one more slot, then I have to rent the cards because I no longer own cards. There was actually a long time that I did own cards up until Pro Tour Guilds of Ravnica, where I thought Arena was going to kill the economy, so I sold everything. But it didn't actually end up happening, so maybe I slightly regret it.
I mean, it kind of has killed the economy in a weird way because now all the cards are super expensive.
Yeah, but it went the opposite direction of where I was
Yeah.
hoping it would go. Like, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Oh, what's a Pro Tour?
Last card. Probably another combo card.
I kind of would like it to be good versus Doomsday as well. Like, Deafening Silence is okay, but that's not like a slam.
The issue is, and this is an issue that I've been trying to figure out for the better part of a year, is that D&D doesn't get good cards versus Doomsday. You just don't.
Yeah, the problem is they're either too slow or too narrow, I think is the actual answer.
Just like, okay,
I don't want to play like Archive Trap, which I've seen people do in Vintage, because I think if you do that, you'll just lose to like other weird shit instead.
Exactly. Yeah, and like other sideboard cards are just gonna be like we could play like Leonin Arbiters or extra Sanctum Prelates or like extra Spirit of Labyrinths, but like adding extra 2 and 3 drops to beat Doomsday is not how you win versus Doomsday.
No,
not as this deck at least.
No, I think I would suspect that you kind of just like have to accept it when you get killed by them, and it's fine. You know?
Yep, that's the conclusion that I came to over a long period of trying to beat it. The real tech card is playing Spirit of Labyrinth main deck and hoping you can cheese game 1 and then cheese game 3.
The real tech card is Cavern Souls to push your spirit through. I mean, you could only really play one Cavern in this deck, so the probability you draw it by the time you want to play your spirit, which is probably turn 2 or 3, it's not that high. Like,
you just gotta get lucky. It's a bad matchup.
Yeah, we can't even play Ebony Rivulet because we don't have any blue in our deck. Angel's Grace? That falls to the same problem as Archive Trap, I think, which is duressable.
It's just like it doesn't help against anything else. It's just like, sure, if I want to be Doomsday, I could load up on Archive Traps or Angel's Graces, then I'm just going to lose to Sneak and Show and Elves and Storm. And
my suspicion is if you wanted to beat Doomsday, you could do what Stefan did. I have a lot of respect for Stefan. I'm not sure if you do. I think he's a great deck builder and plays a whole variety of decks. He actually played White Splash, Black Taxes. His sideboard had Opposition Agent to complement. Like, I think that is the perfect card if you survive to that standpoint.
Cards like so much. You could also like splash blue and play like stuff like Flusterstorm and Meddling Mage.
Meddling Mage, yeah.
But I really it's really hard to sell me on color splashes in D&T. They're so rarely actually consistently better than just normal mono white D&T. Your mana is already so bad in mono white, and like adding an extra color means that you're just like it's suddenly you're taking your Delver matchup, which is traditionally just extremely favored, and kind of just tossing it in the garbage because oftentimes they can just mana deny you.
All right, so we do need one more anti-combo card.
A pet card of mine that I've been kind of enjoying lately is Peacekeeper, but I don't know how actually good that is.
Isn't that not good in the combo matchups?
I mean, if you consider Elves and Show and Tell combo, it's great.
I think the way most Show and Tell decks are built nowadays, Peacekeeper doesn't really hold them, so I'm kind of off it. I mean, I've seen a reasonable amount of Omni Sneak and blue-green Omni, which kind of don't care about Peacekeeper a lot of the time.
I've found that oftentimes if you have like a Mother of Runes in play or whatever, and you put in a Peacekeeper off the Show and Tell, a lot of the decks can't win.
Oh, because they could release Stance is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. They need to find who have bounce spells that they boarded in, or like wish for a bounce spell for your Peacekeeper or whatever.
All right.
Like, cause playing, they don't have all these like draw cards and like find their 3 bounce spells and cast them all for free or whatever. And you can you generally buys you enough time to find Sanctum Prelate, which assembles the hard lock or close to hard lock versus a lot of those decks. Like Peacekeeper plus Prelate on 2 beats Elves, beats GAC.
Unless if they're a crazy Elves player who plays unplayable cards like Shaman of the Pack, but that card is really, really not very good. Dom asks, is Agent actually better than Prelate? I guess that's a good counterpoint. If you think that Sanctum Prelate is as good as Opposition Agent, there's not a real reason to splash for it.
It's a little bit. I would say Opposition Agent is a little bit better because it has Flash, and generally the reason you can't beat Doomsday is because they get to board a Massacre.
Oh, sure.
Opposition Agent, but
Yeah, actually, Stefan, I played a turn 2 Apollo Agent versus A&T last Tuesday. It was off a turn 1 hierarch. It was kind of broken.
I'm at least happy that all of D&T's searches are maze, so it's just like a torp orb than giving your opponent.
Yeah, but Torp Orb's pretty good versus the deck.
Yeah, torp orb's really good versus D&T. Bad torp orb still okay.
Well, it's a 3-mana 3/2 Torp Orb as well, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's not completely irrelevant.
It's a Hushwing Griff.
Oh, I remember playing that card. I kind of liked it in a weird sort of way, but it's kind of funny because the only decks that play it looked similar to D&T in a lot of ways. Like, they'd be like weird, like Court of Calling, Collected Company decks that had like come to play triggers or whatever. I don't know. It was weird to play that sort of card, but I had a reason. I don't remember what it was. Literally cannot remember. It's been years. All right. I've named it Taxes because I didn't feel like coming up with a clever name.
Valid. I think a lot of people make deck specialists make like 50 saved files of like the same deck with minor changes. I've had like the exact same one D&T deck list for years.
Love it. Love it. You know why I love it? It saves so much space. I already have enough stupid deck lists that are all different decks.
Yeah. Every time Lackey's got like Goblins 52. It's just like.
And look at this. Where's my lands deck list? People ask me this. I'm like, I don't know. I'll just build one if I want to play the deck. Like, I literally don't have it anywhere. People do ask me that a lot. I'm just like, I don't know. I would just analyze a metagame and build a list from scratch. I guess it's kind of a cop-out, isn't it?
I suppose.
Actually, what I would probably do is go look at a list that did reasonably well lately and see what I liked and didn't like about it and change it that way. That's what I would actually probably do.
That's generally what I do when I'm like, I don't really have good ideas for like what's going on in the meta. It's just like, what are other people doing? What do I like? What don't I like?
Oh, Basic Swamp is threatening to Q-snipe us. I don't know why. That sounds very unfriendly. And the deck list should be on CBO now. Can someone check? I really don't want to be sniped by Basic Swamps, but I guess we'll just have to risk it.
Yeah, I can see the deck list on CBL.
Alright, do you think I will pass Pokimoki in trophy count when I have 2 and they have 24?
Yeah, probably fine. We got, like 3 weeks left in the league season?
Oh, there's only 3 weeks. Oh, you're right. Oh, this one was shorter because the time between Kaldheim and Strixhaven was only like 4 months instead of like 6. GW just net decks Dylan Dawn again. It's kind of funny. I think Dylan's a really good player, but I don't want to copy his deck lists. It's like how I don't want to copy the Reed's deck lists either, for the most part.
Yeah, there are a lot of... Once you play enough Magic, you start to realize just like people can have like very different ideas of like what constitutes a solid deck list, but like...
You mean like Jund in Modern? I really don't want to be the memer, but it astounds me how often him and Logan have like held themselves back by picking that deck. It's kind of crazy. Oh yeah, Gottschall. All right, Gottschall is playing the PT this weekend. Congrats to him. Oh wow, nice hand. This is actually closer than it looks, but I think I still have to mulligan.
Yeah, this is a mulligan unless I'm in round 7 of a challenge and I look at my opponent's deck and they're on like Delver or something. I might keep.
Well, I could do that, or I could just click the button.
But yeah, if it's a league, I'm just gonna mulligan.
This hand's
way better.
Much better. Obviously, like, there's a risk associated with it, which is fine. I'm bottoming a port, by the way.
Yeah, risk is obviously Thoughtseize Days Force of Will, but
there's a lot of other. Do you think it's goblins or burn?
We'll see what they cast here. Okay,
I think it's burn.
It's a goblins mountain though.
I mean, you're right that this is from Onslaught. You are correct in that.
All right. I bought that mountain. Oh, it's burn. Okay.
All right. Well, I mean, like, the reality is, oh, that was actually decent.
Yeah, that's a good draw. We can cast with Thalia on turn 2 now.
I think I just go Caracas Vial, probably.
You don't have to necessarily go Crocus, but you could go like Port File. There's a chance we could play around Price Progress if we just like draw running basics or something. But
oh, I see.
We're probably going to have to end up playing Crocus Thalia next turn anyway. But
oh yeah, Liquid General says last time we streamed we got Mono Red Phoenix and game 1, and now we get Burn. All right. Well, this is a matchup where I wish I had something like Core Firewalker in my sideboard, obviously, but you know.
Yeah, Core Firewalker is a card that I have in my box of D&T cards that I'll never actually play in my sideboard, but like you could.
I guess we just have to port them upkeep. I don't really want to like. Do you want to take 2 damage to play this?
We're gonna take 2 damage if we don't play it, right? Because it's gonna attack us.
I see. But... so then we should constrain their mana by playing it.
I mean, port constrains typically an identical amount of mana is the other thing. Given it's game 1, they're less likely to get like searing whatever. I'm kind of into just playing out Thalia.
Okay.
Helps us out if we draw 2, and if we don't draw 2, it's whatever.
This is not the hand we want in this matchup. I think you would rather just have a Stoneforge every game.
Yeah, absolutely. Stoneforge
like,
is...
the actual ideal draw in this matchup, I think, is Mother of Ruin, Stoneforge, and Vial in your Battle Skull and see if they're dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the answer is usually they are, but whereas like this one's going to be trickier because I think what you're going to have to do is fade a draw step at some point to prevent from dying while trying to turn the corner as quickly as possible. Yeah. Because the problem is the more turns they get, the more Lava Spikes they'll draw.
Yeah. Luno's a good point. Cast another Thalia here so we can cast Recruiter next turn and Violent a Stoneforge Mystic.
Oh, so then actually this is just a forced play then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. That is a good point. I'm a little bit rusty on my D&Ting. Ari... It's actually one of Ari Lax's favorite decks. I don't know why. I guess he's just that type of person. He also likes Armageddon a lot as a card, so I guess that's probably why. If you like Armageddon, you probably like Rishadan Port and Thalia and Wasteland, don't you?
All right, so our Thalia was just free there.
Yes, exactly. Ari did win with a champs with D&T.
You just draw a Stoneforge Mystic, that'd be nice.
No.
They don't have to cast it. Well, Bunch of Flicker was ain't bad. So you have to imagine I'm a little bit scared of getting popped here, but like I'm not casting this Recruiter.
I think you just have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're probably gonna lose, but you take your beats. I guess it kind of depends on what their hand is. If their hand's a bunch of Fire Blasts, we might be okay.
Yeah. Their hand is like 2 Price of Progresses, we're just gonna fucking die, but that's our life.
Well, yeah, because it's 3 mana deal 6, which is an insanely good rate. I mean, you live by the taxes, you die by the taxes. I'm probably supposed to attack, right?
No, because then we can't really block it very well.
All right.
Keep it back. The good thing about Stoneforge here is that we can at least line up gaining life next turn if we live that long, because we can just go get GT. Use 4 mana to...
No EOT spell. What does that mean? Probably like a Vortex?
What do they have 4 cards in hand. Didn't cast any spells with 3 mana. I have no idea what that means. It means 4 mountains.
Maybe they're flooded. Ah, yes.
Firecraft. Deal.
This card killed me in that GP top 8 when I was playing Rogue. I didn't have access to Oko yet.
So now we just get to trigger GT.
Yep.
And have Flicker Wisp up.
Yeah, normally GT is unsafe in this matchup, but obviously the game has changed. And also we don't have to take damage for putting the GT in, which is super nice.
Yep. We just get to... I mean, we might die. We still... I don't feel safe until we untap the following turn, because then we'll be...
I agree.
Not scared of pop, but... Still, this is definitely...
Plains?
Here.
Nope, a literal brick. So I'm supposed to Vial in the GT, equip to Thalia.
Hit them, yes.
Yeah.
We have Wisp on Vial, so it's like the Eidolon can't even like attack back or anything.
I could also Wisp my Wasteland to play around Pop, to some degree. I'm looking at
That's
that.
actually kind of reasonable, huh?
I played a lot with Wasteland versus these decks. I think I'm actually going to.
Yeah, I think that's like almost the only way we lose, right? With an active GT.
Yeah. Which means I have to do it now because the thing comes back at end step.
Yeah. And we just hold up Wasteland, and then we can activate the Wasteland on our other land.
Violent the GTA was confusing. Yeah.
I get the the lingo.
Oh, I don't know about you, but I'm way too lazy to ever run the right soul, which is just activating your Vile at random times.
Oh, I hate that. I never do it.
So it's called the right soul because right soul made it famous, playing both D&T and Merfolk.
It's the fucking worst. I absolutely hate it.
It's technically correct, but it's also like
the problem is that it also teaches like new D&T players to do it all the time, and then they'll do it in spots where it's like actively bad to do because like it puts your shield down.
Oh yeah, no. Right soul's only doing it when he knows he's allowed to do it because it's right soul. Like it's
exactly.
Not
yeah, when you're like a good player, you can understand like when it's actually free, but it just like teaches bad D&T players really bad habits.
Oh, also was they supposed to gain life main phase? I don't think so. But
we're at 9. We're pretty safe. We don't really have to gain the life right now. If we're at like 3, yeah.
Oh, if I was at 3, there would not be any counters on this GT left. But I realized I didn't think about it, and I think I should have at least thought about it. You know?
Yeah, certainly reasonable. I don't know. I just, especially online, it just like all it does is like eat a bunch of my time. Realistically,
Wesco does that constantly. Well, Wesco does have a lot of draws. Scare the critics.
Nice.
What? It's targeting my Thalia?
You just pump?
I think if they're willing to do this, I think I should just pump twice, right?
Yeah.
So there's a theory in Magic that if your opponent's trying to kill something, there's probably a reason, and you should probably figure out what the reason is. And my suspicion is they have a bunch of like 3-drop or 2-drop spells in their hand. Blast, Gutshot? I mean, that wouldn't even do it.
Yeah, because we would have like gained 4 life if we'd let the Thalia die, but...
Right. I don't know. This is a really weird play.
Yeah, I think they're just dead.
I mean, we're going to get to untap with the GTA a second time, which is your prediction for us winning.
Yeah. Now we'll just hold up both these Wastelands forever, and they can never cast Price Progress, and then they die.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can put them to 7. I think I should just trade.
Yeah, just block.
I mean, I don't really need these Flicker Wisps.
Yeah, especially game 1. They don't have any shatters. This GTA just wins the game.
I'm leaving on 3.
Yeah, just don't take any damage. We get to win now.
Plains is free to play at least.
Yeah.
I'll put an upkeep stop, and I think I just, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 7. I'm always checking the combat math before I do anything. I think the answer is I should just attack with all and play the spirit and port the upkeep.
I would just attack with all.
And leave a Wasteland, I think, is actually best.
Yeah, I would like probably not even port them at this point. I would just leave a double Wasteland.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Actually, that sounds reasonable as well.
Yeah, like we don't need to cast any more spells. If they cast Price Progress, we can just double Wasteland ourselves. Might keep like the Caracas or something.
Should I wisp one of their mountains?
Nah, just keep the wisp around.
All right.
I mean, your decisions don't matter anymore. Make decisions at random and the game's over.
Oh, so it's your garbage time? It's a technical term, by the way. I'll let you know. Garbage time is where you can just click buttons, they lose. Oh, they just only had creatures that can't really do anything, I guess.
Yeah, the Thalia just like brick walled a bunch of 2 toughness creatures.
I mean, this one can't really even attack now.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Alright, probably remove one of their blockers and kill them. I think it works out.
Probably, yeah. 3, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think they're dead. Not positive, but
We could also run the trick of pump, move the equipment, which is one of the
you like
secrets that no
you
one
like
ever.
port their mountain in your upkeep so they can't like cast a fire blast.
Yeah. Or you could do that draw step, which I'm
Yeah,
also fond of doing, which is I think technically better, but also like
yeah,
basically the same.
gives you more information. I just hate having my own draw step stops.
Well, that the beauty of it is you can reset it. Yeah, probably just tap that one. All right. 1, 2.
Okay, yeah, you can just kill the Eidolon and attack for 10. Or like equip to a 1/1 and do whatever. But yeah, we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in play.
That was kind of a nice one. Although, like, I guess our opponent did not draw great.
Yeah, our opponent. I mean,
well, they
yeah,
also bolted us on turn 1, right?
Yeah, the games that you lose against Burn are generally the games where they play a creature on turn 1. Their creature draws a lot scarier.
I agree. They actually had a lot of creatures. It's just they didn't line up well for SARS.
Yeah.
All right. Think this card is not very good. Although, like, maybe our cards are just not that good.
We don't have a lot of cards to bring in, that's for sure. I can see, like, actually, we have a decent spread of
not that one.
Okay cards.
This one. Like these 4?
We board in the Canonist. It's, like, okay.
I see. Yeah, maybe it slows them down enough, or they have to point a burn spell at it.
Yeah.
All right. I think I want these 5.
Definitely board out the Spirits, definitely board out the Revoker.
I don't think you want Deafening Silence because it's not a creature. Like I think
Deafening Silence.
If you thought, I think Candace is good because it's still a 2/2 for 2. Whereas like just Deafening Silence, I think it's going to be too bad too often.
Yeah, you really want your creatures to like trade with Goblin Guides or whatever.
Revoker on Roiling Vortex is okay. I guess that's reasonable. Probably not going to do it though.
A lot of answers for Roiling Vortex. I guess 4.
Well, maybe I should side this out.
Yeah, Ballista is like kind of meh. It's like kind of okay sometimes because you can like cast it around Eidolon in like turn 4 or whatever, but generally that's not an important part of the game. You can kill like a Recruiter or a Wisp after that, just like slow 3s that are unlikely to matter.
Actually, probably the Wisp is worse on average because I think finding Stoneforge matters a lot like it did that game.
Sometimes you want to find Prelate too.
I assume Prelate on 1 or 6 is the most common, but sometimes 2.
Yeah, 2 if you like have an equipment plan and you want to turn off.
I think definitely 6 on a lot of late game scenarios when it's obvious there's one card that matters, right? Although this person's playing Firecraft, so sometimes you're going to have to name 3 as well. So it's like kind of tricky. I think this hand's pretty good, actually.
Yes, it's
because, like you said, their creature-heavy draws are the scariest ones. This one's quite good versus that. Yep. This is actually bad versus a burn-heavy draw, but whatever, I'm not...
There's also a chance, because we have the Batter Skull in hand, that they don't kill your Stoneforge Mystic after you tutor the Jite.
Yeah, but when I see my opponent do that, if I'm playing burn, I just deduce that they have Batter Skull in their hand, because it makes no goddamn sense if you think about it.
Fair. Sometimes you want to search GTA if you like aren't confident that your Stoneforge is gonna make.
Yeah, I actually did used to make that play a lot, playing like controlling blade decks in this matchup.
Yeah.
Because like just TNN plus GTA was enough to beat burn like 99% of the time.
Nice. Free card.
Well, free. I mean, am I going to just main phase plow?
Are you going to move to discard?
So, the counter argument is, how much do I care about Eidolon? I guess the answer is not.
I mean, you have a second plow, too, which makes it, like, actually free. And, like, any burn player would just move to attacks before they're going to cast their Eidolon, right? And they're going to take another 2. Like, the maximum amount of damage a Swift Spear can deal is 2 anyway. Unless they're going to Fire Blast you on turn 2, you know?
Well, if they do that, I think they lose.
Yeah.
I can't really think of a hand where it's correct to do that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I literally cannot construct a hand where it's correct to do that. So, ooh.
And the question is, do we want to play inefficiently this turn?
Yeah, so I think you're thinking the same thing I am. What happens if you just leave up Plow and say go, right?
Yeah, versus casting her 2-drops. That's not a good card to find in this matchup.
No. So my takeaway from the situation is I think they're actually pretty likely to have a searing effect here.
Yeah, searing effects are horrifying.
So I think I just do want to Plow them this turn, even though like my turn becomes really inefficient.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fine. We're at 13 versus 3 cards in their hand.
And yeah, good point from Shop. Your 2-drops are not likely to prevent damage from this Swift Spear as well as the other issue. Thalia's only bad if they have Guide.
Oh, they have Guide.
Kind of hope to get that one with Wasteland at some point, but it's not that likely.
That's fair. Yeah, if they had a Guide instead of a Swift Spear, it's more interesting to play Thalia, because Thalia can't really block a Swift Spear anymore.
I think I'm casting Plow probably on Swift Spear.
Yeah, playing the Swift Spear here for the reason we were just talking about. Thalia can at least block a Goblin Guide 100% of the time.
Yep.
What do we reveal?
Another Plow. That's why I really want to burn this Plow as well. So
yeah, so now if we were real Plow, maybe it was right to Plow the Guide.
Well, I mean, now I think I just play Stoneforge, leave up Plains, and
yeah, but like drawing a third Plow means that like we can just Plow the Guide because we take less damage, right? Knowing that we have the answer.
Oh, sure. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, but I think this.
But yeah, now we definitely just Stoneforge plus hold up Plow.
It's very face up. I get GT, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes depending on like my sideboard and main deck instructions, I'll board out sort of Fire and Ice in this matchup just because it's always the third equipment you get.
Yeah, it's the clunkiest, and even if it connects, you're not even really winning.
Like, yeah.
Because this matchup's not about drawing more cards. It's about...
It usually comes up when they have a Sulfuric Vortex in play and you just want to race them. But like even then, Banner Skull also deals 4 on attack. Sick. Come on, give us a free card. Aether Bow's not a very good one.
Still doing this 100% of the time.
Yep.
Kind of interesting. I think actually that turn, since the Plow was face up, you should just not attack, most likely. Especially if you don't have a second creature to play.
Yeah, that's definitely reasonable.
All right, you're right. This person fell into the trap, or they have smashed the Smithereens.
Yeah, there's definitely non-zero chance they have smash.
I know. I'm wondering if I can avoid it.
We probably avoid it by casting Thalia, putting in Banner Skull, untapping, and then also doing GT. We take some amount of damage off the silent clearing that way.
Whatever.
But, yeah.
I also think there's a reasonable chance that they're just flooded.
Yeah, it might just like cycle 1 or 2 of these canyons here.
It's kind of funny because cycling canyons are actually kind of awkward versus Thalia.
Yeah. Doing it this way just means that they just have to answer 2 equipment on the following turn.
Agreed. You get to overload their mana, which is like kind of a key point.
Yeah.
You get to fake port them.
Yeah, they can only cycle the 1 canyon there because they need to be able to cast their Shatter.
Yeah. I think if they had the Blaze there, they use it end step every time, though, right? Instead of cracking Sunday Canyon?
Or if they have a Searing Blood, at least. If they needed the landfall, then maybe the...
Oh, that's true. Which is funny, because then this might have actually cost them cracking that fetch. If they're playing Searing Blaze. But... Alright, time to see if our thing is dead and we take 3 damage. If it does, it kind of sucks, but...
Yeah, just untap and do the same thing with Cheetah.
Yeah.
And then they need like a Fire Blast to kill the Thalia, or we
Wow, there's no way to see this coming.
Yeah, absolutely no way.
I mean, I'm not thrilled about it, obviously, but...
Yeah. Let's draw a non-silent clearing. Okay. Nice. I generally err on not playing around Price of Progress in post-board games until I see it, because I feel like most.
It's not that. I don't want to tap that.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I was just thinking out loud about.
Like, sure.
Just playing out your land drops for burn. I generally just like don't respect it in post-board games until I see it, because it's like not a very good card versus Death and Taxes in a lot of instances. But some burn players will leave it in, so it's a good thing to be cognizant of. But in this case, obviously, the difference between 7 and 6 is huge, and so we don't want to tap this out there, so we don't have to. So yeah, they're gonna have to Fire Blast this Thalia.
Wow, does this happen a lot? I guess it does actually.
Yeah, you get Germs Fire Blasted a lot too.
I'm not playing this Vial out. It literally cost me a life point to do that, and I would rather save that for dear life.
Difference between 7 and 6 is huge.
All right.
Guide.
I mean, that puts us to 5. 5 is relatively safe as well.
Yeah, just a matter of like...
Recruiter of the Guard. All right.
It's not a land, which means...
I think what I should do is equip first and see what they do.
Yeah, we're definitely equip attacking before we do anything else. We might end up having to cast this Skyclave.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to have to.
Yeah. Again, the big rule of thumb is very often like intervals of 3 versus burn.
Yep.
Like 5 and 4. Obviously, we're in Fire Blast range, but they can't even cast a Fire Blast right now, A. And B, if we get GT triggers, we'll be okay.
I feel like they have a Bolt in hand?
Yeah, if they have like a Bolt as the last card, then we just go to 4, eat their Goblin Guy, and they're Hellbent.
Yeah, and then, like, unless if they're playing Borrow's Charm, then we're probably safe. If they're playing Borrow's Charm, good beats, you know? I'm willing to accept that. Yep. All right.
There's the Bolt. All right, then we Skyclave the Guide. Going to 4. If they draw like a Searing effect, that's pretty bad for us, because then they get a 1/1. We don't have the creature for our GT.
Well, it would have to be Searing Blood exactly. I don't know how the burn decks are built nowadays.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I think generally... Actually, is Searing Blaze better? I don't know.
I think generally I play Searing Blood in Legacy a lot, just because like there aren't a lot of 3 toughness creatures in Legacy.
Fair.
Searing Blooding Insectal Apparitions is something that happens a lot.
Smash would be very bad. Yeah, if they draw another Smash, I mean, I'm not going to do anything about it because I can't.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
Oh, the reason to play Searing Blaze was actually Dreadhorde Arcanist. That's the reasonable point. That is a good creature to Searing Blaze.
Yeah. The reason Forked Bolt left for so long.
The fucking Elks. Alright.
Alright, they're passing the turn.
Well, opponent, I do not believe you, and even if I did believe you, I still have to do this, so it's like kind of irrelevant.
Yeah. Equip attack. The issue is if they like throw another burn spell to Skyclave, just like we have to cast this Recruiter and go to 3, and then we're just like probably dead. We could draw another land that isn't the Silent Clearing, but
Alright, well that's actually good. Because
that's a creature that can block a 1/1 illusion and does not ping us off our Silent Clearing.
Wow, this is a funny game, actually. I mean, it's kind of scary, but it's also kind of funny in a weird sort of way, right?
Yeah, we're walking the tightrope. Would like to get this port online, but
I mean, I really just want them to start drawing lands. Like,
yes. Yeah, the Silver Draw is real good here. If we had to cast Recruiter, it was just going to be a lot worse.
Well, I mean, then we die to, like, I don't know, probably, like, 1/3 of their deck or something like that. Probably not a third, but enough that it's, like, kind of terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They hit a land. They got to cycle for another bolt.
Then they've already used 2. I don't think that...
Or a Chain Lightning.
Rift Bolt. Okay.
Yeah, it's not the right bolt.
That's really not the right one for a lot of reasons. All right. Funnily enough, Skewer the Critics would have also not worked.
Yeah, if we can't deal us any damage.
They have a stop on our turn with no cards in hand.
Ooh, a land means we cast Recruiter too. We don't have to ping this illusion. Sick. I don't think our recruiter choice matters here, but probably just like Sanctum Prelate to put on 2 to keep the GT safe or something.
Checks out to me. I mean, the other card we could get is actually Skyclave to play around Rolling Vortex or something like that.
Maybe that's fair. Or like maybe just like Flicker Waves, keep your options open.
That's probably the best one, to be fair. But I kind of feel like if we get another turn, we're winning by so much that it's unlikely to matter. But this is probably the correct one. Should I go to 6 now?
Yeah, I'd go to 6 to play on Fire Blast. And then keep the 1 counter. We can ping the illusion if like they have a searing effect on the recruiter.
Or if they Searing Blood or Recruiter, we could just kill the Recruiter.
That's also
if it's Searing Blood specifically, if it's Searing Blaze, you don't want to do that. The cards are worded differently.
Yeah. Definitely.
You ever have a rip shut off a Searing Blood?
No.
I've seen
Can't
that
say
happen.
that I have. Oh yeah, there's a Rift Bolt.
I mean, I don't really care.
This is fine.
Because they can only draw 1 card, right? So it's either going to deal 4 to us or 4 to or you know what I mean. It can't actually kill us. Yeah, it's going to our Nug, which I expected.
Yep. Fine with that.
All right, that does not win.
So fine.
Oh, Pop would have killed us, actually.
Yeah, Pop has us dead for a couple of turns.
Yeah,
here.
but whatever. That one, we can't do anything about. Another Plow. So
we just trade with the illusion then?
Yeah, and just take 2, go to 1, right?
Yeah, because we have the Plow for the guide now. We can also just suit up a Sword of Fireness on the Stoneforge Mystic and kill the guide. That might be better. We could hold up Plow to plow our own Stoneforge, gain extra life.
I have to be very careful not to click this Silent Clearing on this turn cycle.
Yeah, don't flow me. That Silent Clearing. Cast Sword, equip, attack, shoot guy, draw a card, pass the turn. Or gain some amount of life, too, somewhere in there. Flicker, leave up Plow for and Wisp is almost. I mean, this is the same thing, right? We can plow our Stoneforge Mystic still. We can gain life with the GT and cast the Plow on Stoneforge if we need to, but this just clears the guide for free. We drew the lands too, so we don't even have to take damage off the Silent Clearing. How many GT counters did you use here? 2? Any? Does it matter? Probably not. They can only ever have 1 card, is the thing.
Yeah.
So
I think you're probably supposed to do it in case of some weird Skullcrack scenarios still. I'm gonna gain 2.
That's fair.
I'm gonna gain 2 life, but not use 2 counters, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Play around Sudden Shock. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, we'll play around Sudden Shock in Respected Times Power Remastered, where the card's still there.
Gotta respect the sudden. I've been gotten by a lot of Sudden Shocks. Ooh. It's not a bad one. It's probably not going to be enough. Especially because we have this Plow to gain life too, in emergency scenarios.
I'm just obviously gaining 4 because that's the correct play.
Easy gain 4, cycle its clearing. We'll just kill them now.
They came really close both games. I guess that's how it always looks when you're winning, unless if their draw is completely dysfunctional, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
they have drawn relatively well, but all
Oh, now we get to start porting their land too, and they're on 0 cards. So yeah, this game is still pretty locked up.
It's kind of funny. We didn't really have a good window to port them ever until now, I think, though.
Yeah, until turn 10.
Wait, what happens if I get pre-late naming 2?
We died.
Oh, no, to Fire Blast. So
what's our clock look like? We have 5 damage, putting them to 13. So it's like 3 turns no matter what we do.
well, if we put them to 13, okay.
Step 1, attack them and draw a card.
Yeah, that's fair.
We could recruit Thalia. That still dies to Fire Blast though.
So I guess the real question is, do I think they have a 2-mana 4 damage spell?
Probably not, but like Flame Rift.
Maybe it's just better to play Wisp, actually. Because I don't actually... Yeah, I think I'm just... Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Flicker Wisp, flicker my planes, upkeep, port them.
That's fine.
I think that plays around the most things, actually, but I can't really explain why.
Just gets damage into play.
Yes, I know we have Plow. That's why I don't want to tap out.
Yeah.
That's
why we don't want to just like Recruiter, cast Prelate or whatever.
But at the same time, you should like at least consider it, which is what we were doing.
Yeah. All right, that one resolves. Now we should... I guess now we're dead to Fire Blast. Oh, we can put the sword on the Wisp. Never mind. We should have done that one. I know we shouldn't have done that last turn, so we tap out. But now we can put the sword on the Wisp. Gain 5. How much damage are they taking here? 7, 8.
Yeah, so we just have to fade one more turn, which means I guess I just port and leave up Plow.
Yeah. Probably like cast a Vial or something.
Actually, do I even have to attack with a Stoneforge?
Is there a reason not to? They cast
5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, you actually. I think you have to 5. 6,
yeah, because if they draw Fire Blast our face, we have to plow the Wisp and then attack them for 5 with Stoneforge.
Exactly. So I actually do have to. I do actually have to deal them 1 extra damage because it lines up perfectly. So port them, and that's game.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. What happens if they draw? Oh no! If they draw creatures, it's the same thing as drawing a burn spell, right?
Yeah. If they draw a creature, you just plow it and attack them for lethal anyway. So just don't tap your Wasteland.
I know. It was actually sort of debatable if I should have even played the Wasteland for that reason, but I was playing.
I guess they can't actually cast Price Progress because they're getting ported on upkeep. But
yeah. We walked the tight line this game.
Yeah. They've cast a lot of burn spells, so we just look at that graveyard.
They've cast 2 smashes. I would actually normally expect the games where they cast 2 smashes for D&T to lose.
Yeah, generally, we got like, what, 2, 3 triggers from that GTA? Yeah. I think it was 2. So, generally the games where they cast 2 smashes and you get 0 triggers, you're definitely dead. But
alright, our opponent has died.
Yeah, they found land.
Well, that was a nice one. That match did take a while. That was, let's see, 17. It took 33 minutes. Yeah, butthole clenched the entire match. But it was a 2-0 victory, so...
Yeah. Bird's always scary with Death and Taxes.
Yeah. Thanks for everyone being here. I actually am going to use the restroom real quick because we've been at it for a little bit.
Alright.
Might be a good time for you to go, too,
Alright, yeah.
Alright, be right back for round 2 in a sec. All right. See you, Jinro. And, thanks everyone being here. Thank you, Bookish Matt. I saw you were here on Tuesday as well. So thanks for being here. And if you want to support the stream, following is appreciated. If you have a Prime sub, that's appreciated as well. And if you want to use a regular sub, that's obviously appreciated.
Yeah, everyone sub to Jarvis.
Sub to me or XJCloud. Take your pick.
No, don't sub to me. I don't stream enough.
Yeah, I'm actually... Dom and I are going to cover day one of the Kaldheim Championship tomorrow. 7 hours straight, which,
I'm going to play Monster Hunter for 7 hours straight tomorrow.
I know. This is the perfect time for you to get one last thing in. Because I know you're going to be in the Monster Hunter zone. All right. On the draw, blind. I guess it's a reluctant... Well, it's not even a reluctant keep. It's a fine keep, right?
Yeah, easy keep. Yeah. This deck only has like 8 1-drops. 8 turn 1 plays. We have strong turn 2 options. If we're playing against a non-blue deck, we're a little bit sad, but such is life.
Zuppington says, it's fun to watch this. I just picked up the cards for D&T and paper for one Magic Can Happen again. Oh.
Exciting stuff. Yeah. I always love to see new people play the deck.
Oh. I smell Landlight Hand, but also preordain likely means combo.
Bottom. Wasteland.
But even if they top, I'm probably still wasting them, right?
Probably.
They also bottomed. So.
All right, yeah, absolutely. I'm in.
Yeah.
Fire away.
So I actually had a terrifying experience yesterday that I was hoping would not repeat today, which is yesterday when I activated my Errant Doomsayers, it targeted itself. So I'm living in fear of my mouse just like clicking on itself during a Wasteland activation. Because that is like literally the worst feeling. I don't know if that's ever happened to you.
I've done similar things. I think one of my friends posted in the Discord yesterday something. He was doing like Kaldheim draft, and there's some Bears saga or something where you have to target your opponent's creature.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Clicked on his own thing, thinking it was like, oh, click on your thing and make it deal damage to your opponent's thing, and then no, he just shot it.
Yeah, no, I think what has to happen is you have to pick off the creatures that you want to deal damage. You're allowed to pick 0. That might have been what happened, but
I think it was Lunel that it happened to, so he can tell the story.
My opponent killed.
Oh, it happened to his opponent.
Oh, well, that's good for Louis then. We should be happy.
Yeah. Oh, the board was empty. It just shot itself.
I see. Yeah, Bears is a good card. Although I'm tired of Kaldheim draft. I think I got up to 3 complete sets and I decided I was done with it because it didn't interest me that much. Oh, Aetherfall is not bad.
It's our best draw on this turn, probably.
Probably versus this setup. I mean, I'd rather draw this than Mother of Runes, I think, given what's going on.
Yeah. So when you see Underground Sea combo deck... Okay, well, I guess that answers that question.
I think it is Doomsday, though.
Yeah, it's Doomsday now. I was going to say, do you think Storm or do you think Doomsday now?
So there's actually one key indicator. Phlogistrand means Doomsday.
You're absolutely right.
Or not? Okay, all right, okay. I control Z everything.
Surprise!
It's probably just Blue Black Shadow then is the actual answer.
Yeah, double preordain is interesting though. Wouldn't expect that many cantrips.
All right. Thalia or a Spirit?
Probably pretty easy Thalia here.
Yeah, I agree. They already dazed you once. If they daze again, whatever. Like, we just let them have their cake.
Yeah.
Louis said he was here for Spirit.
Well, Louis was always here for Spirit.
So Louis really likes Blade of the Sixth Bride, huh?
We have 2 Wastelands in our hand though, so like if they want to like keep trying to cast their spells, they're gonna need to like start playing into these Wastelands so we can just keep blocking them out.
Yeah, our hand's pretty good for this matchup actually. Get loud for XJCloud. Matt.
Comical Flip brings up a good point. Shadow doesn't really play basics a lot, right?
No, but
Grixis
I mean, this
Delver?
basic island is really, really interesting. It is Grixis, yeah.
Grixis with basic island.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
Triple preordain. What the?
They're playing Ethereal Forager, is my suspicion.
That's my guess as well. But like 11 is so many cantrips, even in like those builds. This is like Dread of Arcanist levels of cantrips.
No, this is Grixis for sure. I mean, I'm just gonna waste them and play Spirit of the Labyrinth. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe they hate Ponder. That's weird because I think most people who play this format love playing Ponder. I say most. I'm not trying to exclude you, XJ. So Waste Spirit, right? Like it doesn't.
Yeah, it's absolutely Wasteland plus Spirit.
Yeah.
We're at a perfectly fine life total and have more follow-up lands to cast Flickerists to put in front of this Insectal Apparition after. And like them on 1 land versus Thalia plus Spirit is really, really bad for them. Until they go Volk Fork Bolt, and then we're gonna be really sad.
I wish you hadn't said that because Ari taught me an important lesson, which is you cannot say the cards you're afraid of, otherwise you will them into existence.
I do that to myself all the time on my stream.
You really should just you should just leave it in your head and not say it. Like seriously.
It's fine, they don't have it.
Basically, Ari yelled at me because I'm like, I once said that when we were playing a team GP, and I'm like, what if your burn opponent has gut shot for your Vault Scourge? And he's like, he turned to me, he's like, you're not allowed to say these things. I'm banning you from talking. You know, good beats. I think attack with Thalia, play Flickerous. There's a small amount of merit to playing the Flickerous first to see if it resolves.
There's also some merit in playing the Flickerous first if you want to attack with the Spirit of the Labyrinth. You can just flicker that.
Oh, but I want to flicker that to try to...
You're just going to block it, right?
Okay, I guess that's fair, actually. Anyways, I think basically I want to see if it resolves because it might actually change my play.
It's also merit. There's potential that we could just trade the Spirit for their Delver if they want that. I think I'm fine with just...
I think the Spirit's more important, but...
Yeah. Why not just recruit Stoneforge? We're taking a lot of damage on the backswing. Assuming this Delver flips, we go to 8, and like the Stoneforge is like really far away at that point. We definitely want...
Agreed.
Getting the Flickers in play means we have a flyer, which means we can block one of these aberrations.
If the Wisp didn't resolve, you'd offer the trade.
That's fair, yeah.
That is fair, yeah.
Because we definitely want to conserve our life total at that point.
I think generally we only lose this game to being cheesed up by damage.
Yep.
You know me, I've played a lot of Delver. I really don't like these situations as the Delver side. Unless if I have like a bunch of bolts in my hand, you know?
Yeah, especially under Spirit plus Thalia. A lot of their cards are just uncastable right now.
Even if they bolt us once, like, so if they bolt that attack for 6, I think we can still win.
Yeah, we have like the backup Wisp too, and a Wasteland again.
Yeah, exactly, because I think for them to bolt, they would have to fetch a Volcanic.
Yeah, fetch Volcanic Bolt. This Delver didn't even flip.
They kept off of...
The Delver didn't flip, and then they also drew the card.
Oh, they did not know that card, because they top-topped, drew both.
Yeah.
So it was an unknown card, which is why it didn't flip, I think.
Snap blocking.
Yeah, I agree. This is like draft 101. You just block here every time. I guess the best card for them to play would be something I'm not going to say. We'll see if they play it or not.
I think I know what card you're thinking of.
Well, damn it. We probably just willed it into existence. Oh, no.
Nope.
Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe they just have Forager. Forager would be great for us here. Wasteland was the Forager.
So if they play Forager, what do we do?
Young Peasy.
Well, I want to Wasteland this Vulcan and attack them for 5, probably.
Yeah. Just a matter of what we follow it up. Well, do you want to attack? Oh, yeah, attack is fine because they can't make a token. And I'm fine trading Spirit Free and Pyro here. I was thinking that they could cast like a Brainstorm, but we have Thalia. So.
Sure. I think this trade is fine now.
Yeah. I'm totally fine with trading Spirit Free on Pyro if that's what they want. Guess their hand is just like glutted with cantrips, but like we can beat that pretty easily with our hand.
So now what?
Wasteland, probably recruiting Stoneforge now.
So do I play around Daze by playing the Waste first, then playing it?
That's probably pretty free.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's Snap resolved, so I don't think they have shit.
Stoneforge is probably the choice.
I agree.
Yeah, we want a little bit of extra gas in the tank here. Now that we've unlocked their cantrips, but they just like don't have enough mana to sit around.
Exactly. I think we will choke them out slowly. Well, it's not even that slow. I guess it's actually pretty fast now.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing around the Daze was free. That's why I brought it up.
It's like mostly free. There are cases where you actually need to think about like whether or not you want to let them pick up their volcanic to keep their red mana and stuff.
I mean, I could have gotten Ballista, but I think getting Ballista is worse than getting Stoneforge.
Yeah, it's worse into Daze. It's probably just like worse than Stoneforge Mystic killing stuff anyway. Wow, all right, sure.
This play is, I think, generally wrong unless if there's a few conditions where it's correct. And I will explain real quick. The real condition it's correct is when you know your opponent's playing combo and the only thing that matters is killing them. Then it's like clearly correct to do it. The other situation it's correct is when you actually do have a fetch land untapped as well and you brainstorm upkeep. I actually see people rarely do that for some reason. Even though like sometimes they should, I think. But here I think it's almost certainly wrong. But again, we don't know their hand, so maybe it is actually right.
They're likely not winning this game off the back of this Delta flipping right now, so they'd rather use the brainstorm to find answers to what we're doing.
That's actually why I thought it was probably wrong. Because I think you need to maximize the value on this brainstorm to win, because you're not going to win by inches. I think you're going to win by like actually clearing everything out with a bunch of like a flurry of bolts, you know?
Yeah.
Like
you're gonna win finding a force for this Stoneforge Mystic or whatever, and then like Ethereal Forging back a bunch of cantrips and then not getting Flicker Wisp.
What hand would make that brainstorm right? If their hand's literally 3 brainstorms, I probably would cast brainstorm. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm saying there are actually it's actually kind of funny. I think when you have a lot of brainstorms, you're actually supposed to like jam them a lot more aggressively than people do. We're slicing and dicing the competition. Well, slice and dice is not in my deck. That would be a card that's actually decent versus TNT.
I've been slice and diced really badly by some I forget who it was, some streamer.
Our opponent is apparently having internet problems. I said NP because, like, you know.
Yeah, the block on the Spirit Labyrinth kind of indicated that they were pretty glutted on cantrips, so
agreed.
Not surprised for them to brainstorm a reveal preordained there. But like the Thalia is doing enough work stopping their cantrips.
That's pretty good too.
Yeah, I'm kind of in for just skyclaving this apparition.
Is Skycliving playing better than playing Flicker Wisp, actually?
It's a little bit better. It's better against a whale. If they have that in their deck. They are Grixis, so
really... wow. Louis right. They do actually play 4 Preordain, so they have max cantrip.
Yeah, that is pretty wild.
Right.
The other option is like just ignore the Insect Apparition, just like Stoneforge Mystical's Port.
That's interesting.
It's probably defensible.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to do that.
This leaves our options open to do stuff next turn instead.
Exactly, yeah. And if they force this, we don't really care. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, they go down to 1 card, 6 life. We tap them down to 3.
So, do I get GTA or Sophie? I assume Barrascoal is out of the question because it takes way too long.
Yeah. It's a possibility that you want Sophie just in case your opponent's on Trinae Nemesis. It's a little worse if they kill the Stoneforge Mystic, because it's so much more expensive than GTA. But Sophie's probably fine here.
Yeah, I think Sophie's probably correct, but it's worth thinking about again. And then hit them for 3. And I guess I'm porting Island Upkeep because porting that doesn't really do very much.
Yep.
And porting Wasteland just means your port gets wasted. Like...
Yeah, like if they kill the Stoneforge, I mean, I don't think we're losing this game in that scenario still.
Right, we have like so much behind. They only have 3 cards. We know. Whoa, so that means they're going to cast Brainstorm, I guess?
That seems just wrong to Wasteland that in general. They just let our port 2 things.
Wait, what? They didn't even float?
I don't know what's happening.
Now I'm confused.
Yeah, that was a really bad sequence of events.
All right.
But they want to fetch to shuffle, but want to keep their red source safe. That's fair. Right? They knew their top card from the Brainstorm.
Okay, I guess. Okay. All right.
It wasn't good, like, but there wasn't a lot of better options because they knew drawing their card wasn't going to help them.
Yeah, what's up, Jay Cornell? Yeah, I guess the not getting your red source ported actually does matter. That actually does make sense. All right, Path is still good even though they showed Island. They probably only have 1, to be quite fair. I think I just want all my removal spells, essentially.
Yep, it's a Delver matchup.
Probably not, but like...
Yeah, I'd hold off on reps until you see more of their deck. It's probably not very good anymore. It used to be okay during Arcanist era, but...
This can go.
Yeah, remote grows, no targets.
So, I expect this person to have Plague Engineer post-board, actually.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure you can really do much about it, except, like, let 1 or 2 of your things get killed by it.
I like leaving in Ballista versus Young Pyro plus Delver.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'll cut versus Delver decks that aren't playing other X1s, but Young Pyro is a big reason to leave in Ballista.
Sure.
Probably shaving on like Recruiter, Thalia.
You set out Thalia on the draw? Yes.
You just shave them a little bit. Just taking out things that have 1 toughness mitigates a little bit of the backlash.
All right, this might sound crazy. Should I just cut both Recruiters?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, and then I'm pretty satisfied. None of the other cards are like that appealing to me.
Yeah, you just buckle in for the control game. We should have 1 million removal spells.
Harder for them to win that one without Arcanist, right?
Yeah.
Like, Forager is significantly worse than Arcanist in that
Yeah,
role.
especially against Flicker Wisp.
You know, I hadn't thought about that. That's really funny. Yeah, I'm pretty anti-whale, personally. I know other people like it. I just don't think it's very good. Borderline, but you probably have to keep, right?
This game's great. We'll hit a white source. You just gotta believe sometimes.
I understand what I've signed up for when I don't have any card selection in my deck. I guess my card selection is draw steps. Alright. Chat. I'm going to let you all in a little secret. I don't think this card is like that insane versus TNT, but you probably have to play it because of how good it is versus Stoneforge. And what I actually mean by that is you should let them cast the Stoneforge and take the equipment a lot of the time. But I actually think the life loss matters a shit ton.
Yeah, damage races come up a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I also don't think you have to play it on turn 1. If it's your only play, you probably do, but still kind of eh. It chose to shuffle. Right, well. I think it cost me a lot to play around days, right?
What, the ability to port next turn if you play around if you don't play around days?
Would you rather play around days or port them next turn?
I'd play around days here. I'm not super keen on porting them right now.
Okay. I think it's kind of close because... Oh, I guess I'll eventually play that around.
Luno brings up a good point of we might... Oh, never mind. Well, now we're definitely killing it. But we're a little bit soft to delve threats if we just like fire off the plow on it, so we might just want to like just take a couple hits and Skyclave it, but second removal spell means it's pretty free to just kill this Delver now.
So what I think I should actually do is play Plains, set an upkeep stop, and see what happens, right? Because if it doesn't flip, why should I kill it?
I mean, I guess that's fair.
Like, I don't think a 1-mana like Fugitive Wizard is not a scary card.
Like, eventually we are going to have to kill it, but at that point we might be able to line up Skyclave instead, which is exactly. Delver's the best card to Skyclave in this matchup, obviously, because they just get a 1/1 after.
Yeah, it didn't kill it, so I'm just not interested really. Well, so I was thinking about that. I don't think you want to play the port that turn because I don't think you really want to get wasted that turn.
Yeah, we definitely want to just try to cast the Skyclave if possible. Probably going to end up getting dazed, but I think that's fine. You can also just wait longer. Depends on what the opponent does.
Yeah, I mean, I think eventually we are going to get wasted or dazed at some point, and it's going to be a little bit annoying, but it's fine.
Yeah.
They bottom topped. Huh, this is kind of interesting. Do you plow here?
Thinking about it. If 4 cards in hand. We know they have a basic island, which is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I really don't want to path this.
Yeah. So I'm like kind of interested in plowing this now.
Yeah, I'm going to now. Like, obviously,
makes our turn a little awkward because we don't really want to cast these Skyclaves onto an empty board, but we can just like port say go. I guess.
Exactly. I think it depends on what they do. They took a Skyclave.
Interesting. Don't really know what that signals, honestly.
Oh, it means I'm going to try to port that Black Source next turn. I think that's what that means.
Yeah, definitely. Don't want to get anglered right now.
Alright, they shuffled off that Ponder. Not the best draw, but I guess it might be okay at some point, actually.
We might end up casting it here. We need to kill them eventually.
We do. We're ahead by 6.5 minutes, too. I'm not trying to time them out, but it's not unreasonable if the game just naturally goes along, right?
More Delvers. All right. I think we're just going to fire a Skyclave into a daze here.
It's unfortunate, but...
Unless we draw like a 2-drop. Well, that's pretty good, but yeah. I'll fire Skyclave into daze here.
Whoa, it just snap resolved. So I guess they might have... Something I think a lot of Delver players do is they assume Daze is not good in this matchup, where I think the opposite is true. I think Daze is quite good in this matchup.
Yeah. Because basically always. It so often can convert, especially when you're on the play.
Well, also because like if you just keep... If they don't have an Aether Vial, then your Daze is almost guaranteed to be live.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something I've discussed when I've coached people. I'm like, why did you side out Daze? And they're like, XYZ reasons. And I just tell them, well, I don't think you should do that because Daze is a messed up Magic card. Is my reality, my response 99% of the time. So I think I'm going to waste their C and then port their Volk.
I'm almost interested in just not doing anything with my lands trying to cast this banner.
Okay, actually, maybe I should just port them then. Also, yeah, you're right. They didn't do anything on 4 mana. It probably just means they have a bunch of lands in hand.
Yeah, it seems like they're flooding pretty badly. You could port their flooded strand this turn if you want to try to get them to fetch the second UC and try to take them off a color the following turn. Because we can't take them off of black this turn, no matter what we do.
All right.
Or you can just keep porting it under.
I guess I'll see what they do. Remember there was an era of Magic where the Miracles players I played against were so good that they stopped activating their fetch lands in response to my port activations as lands. And the real reason that mattered was there was a boil. There were 2 boils in my sideboard, so I wanted them to fetch all of their islands out. What is this?
A Gurmag Angler?
It is a Gurmag Angler. Yeah, I don't really care about that. I'm happily going to path this and...
Yep. And then I think our plan is just cut black. Unless if we draw a 5th land, I might just cast Batter Skull.
Yeah, I don't think they have Daze. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. There was maybe one turn where they could have drawn Daze.
Yeah.
But I actually think they top deck Angler that turn, right? It doesn't really make a lot of sense otherwise.
Yeah. If we miss here,
all right, whatever.
Betting black might be interesting, but yeah.
Whatever.
We just want to kill them now. We're both in low resource.
We still have one more remote spell. We have a Horizon Land. That was actually a nice one to draw, sort of.
Yeah, cast our only 5-drop and we can cycle it away.
Everything's turning up Millhouse or XJCloud.
Yeah. I mean, this is just how we drew it up, right? Plow, path, Skyclave.
Oh no, please, no, don't.
What is this even?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what
when they started clicking buttons, I'm like, oh no.
It's pretty good.
Alright. So I can play Mother of Runes and cut off their black, actually.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm interested in doing.
Because I don't have any 5-drops left in my deck, except for Sophie Equip.
Yeah. Don't need to cycle this clearing yet.
Nope.
Just play Mom. It was a real good K command.
That was, I mean, that card's just insane in this matchup, generally speaking, so.
Yeah. No Bolt is nice.
Alright. That's fine.
Sure.
They don't know about this path, right?
Yeah, they only knew about the one path.
Yeah, this one's unknown, I believe. I think I'm supposed to just play it out, right? The thing is, porting them doesn't do very much when they have a fetch, right?
Yeah. We can't cut black anymore.
Yeah. So now I just have to hope to draw creatures. Now we're in a top deck war, and I hope we win it, but obviously...
Yeah, we're in a top deck war, and we have a removal spell in hand, and they have a 1/1, so I feel pretty good about our position right now.
Funnily enough, even if they top deck a True Name, I think we can beat it, so...
Yeah, definitely. Need to find something.
I think I'm going to just cycle.
Yep.
Because if I draw any 1-drop, it would be good.
If you draw a Wasteland, it's probably a better land to play this turn.
Alright, let's just mess with them. No! What? They did it last time! This is incoherent behavior. I demand a refund.
I mean, last time we had a Wasteland to play, in fairness.
Oh, sure. Oh! Okay.
That's a good one.
I think I'm just playing it for 2 and leaving.
Yeah, we play it for 2 around days, and it means that if they have a removal spell for it, we still get to eat their illusion.
As Eli would say, is a double Mog fanatic.
This is a really powerful magic card.
When it came out, I predicted that this card would be so insane in D&T mirrors.
I mean, you're not wrong. It is pretty messed up in D&T mirrors.
What?
This deck feels ambitious. They have like a 1 damage, like
they have a Plague Engineer probably, so I should just take it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of downside in just taking this damage. Even if this is just a bluff, it's just like...
If it's a bluff, all right, that was a really good attack if it's a bluff.
Yeah, it's okay. You got your 1 damage.
Oh, man, if it was a Fallen Shinobi, I would probably just shame concede. Except we could still pass the Fallen Shinobi, so it wouldn't even be the end of the world, but...
It says whoops in chat.
I don't buy it. I actually don't buy it. Like... I mean, I'm gonna put them in check now. Like, I didn't come here not to do this, right?
Yeah, I mean, just equip. If they have the bolt, we still just if they just die, cool. They could have fatal push.
They could have fatal push, but I don't think that makes a lot of sense because you would just push it every time, anyways, right?
Okay, they're just dead. Cool.
Do I actually play this out? Like, could they have, like, Deluge or some shit?
We just play the Vial and keep porting. We have a really good creature that's really hard to kill and play already. I don't think we necessarily need a second creature.
We also don't need to rush it, so maybe they, like...
Yeah. They're dead next turn to Justice Ballista, so...
Yep. Don't forget to count the 2 points itself.
Yeah, it gets to shoot them in the face afterwards.
This was a weird game. Oh, I guess they just didn't draw anything.
Yeah.
Like,
5 cards in hand.
I think this showed my point about Thoughtseize. It didn't really do anything, you know?
Yeah. The long game favors Other Taxes by a pretty wide margin in the Delver matchup. So, like, Thoughtseize kind of extended the game out because they were spending their mana denying us doing things, but, like, we didn't
exactly
care. We could just sit on our heels and wait.
The exception was back in the day when I played Probe Pyromancer. I usually left in Cabal Therapy versus D&T because that's, I think, a little bit different.
Oh yeah, and Therapy was like messed up, like Young Pyromancer.
Well, also Gitaxian Probe just meant you never missed, which is why it was so messed up.
Yeah, so I've lost so many games to just having 2 of 1 card in hand and then just getting Probe Therapied and dying.
You mean you don't like getting hymned for 1 mana? When am I playing Belcher? Probably not. I don't really enjoy Belcher, that's the problem.
Yeah, the superior deck nowadays is Oops all spells anyway.
I don't really enjoy that deck either, so I just don't play it. Our opponent is Zorius Karn-Echoes? You've tested this deck a bunch, right?
Yeah, I think they play a lot of the Urza Echo deck, not necessarily the blue-white version, but...
I think this is a keep versus them, personally.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled about it, but... No, I'm not thrilled about a lot of hands if this is the mono blue deck.
What if it's the Kanikan version?
Oh, the Kanikan version? Then we're just fucking dead. That matchup's really bad.
Oh. I think you tested it for a bit, right?
Yeah.
I'm an eclectic legacy player. I am. I just don't enjoy Belcher or Oops, which I think is my right to do so.
Think of how many more matches of Legacy you can play, though.
I mean, I'm not going to go out and berate people for liking that because I think it's a cool intellectual... Like, okay, let me put it different. I think it's cool that the deck exists. I just don't enjoy playing it because I don't find the games very satisfying personally. But if other people do, that's their prerogative, you know? Oh, they're not... Okay. Well, they didn't reveal Garuda, so I don't think they're that deck, right?
Yeah. I think they were playing the mono blue deck in like this past weekend. If this is the person that I remember. Oh, nope.
Oh, we know what we're in for.
Well, at least we have Stoneforge, but we also have 2 Thalias.
Oh, should I just...
Hey, it's a good draw.
think I should play Spirit this turn, actually.
Are they gonna cast Glimpse this turn?
Oh, I guess they might not. So you think I should Stoneforge?
It's not super interesting. Not particularly interesting either because we're never getting there until like turn 4 regardless, but it gives us more options next turn.
Well, so the counterpoint is, if I want to play like Wisp next turn, I have to play Spirit this turn.
That's true.
So I actually think I am going to play Spirit.
Yeah, that's understandable.
We beat Delver 2-0, although game 2 was a lot closer because we got K commanded.
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason to play Stoneforge would be if you didn't hit land 4 and you wanted to cast Cheetah the following turn, but I think there's a very low chance that I would be playing Spirit on at least turn 3, because that's around the time where the glimpses can actually start to be scary. Ooh, that's pretty good. Fairly confident I just want to slam Prelate on 4 right now.
I was thinking that. One thing we have to be careful about is not dying to this.
Yes.
We don't actually have any removal in our hand, but I guess if we buy enough time to that standpoint, we will.
Yes. Spirit plus Sanctum Prelate on 4 is close to a hard lock. It makes it a lot harder for them to kill us.
It means what they'll have to do is play Honest Magic.
I mean, yeah, they need to fetch Dried Arbor.
If they find Gaia's Cradle, they can very easily do that, is the problem.
Yeah. We won't have a lot of... But, like, none of our plans were very good against that.
I agree. I mean, I
believe
this.
We have a lot of draw steps to be able to beat that, too. Like, anything Wasteland, Plow, Skyclave.
Yes! Value!
Got him. 1/1 for 2.
You really don't play that card for that reason.
Ooh, Wasteland's really good.
Do I even waste their... I mean, I can't waste them, right?
Yeah, you can't Wasteland them. Wasteland's just good for Cradle.
All right.
You just Stoneforge plus GTA here. Yep. Although, yeah, we're fine. Because getting the GTA in play means we can equip and then use the Port or the Wasteland to take down the Arbor.
Yep.
And sure.
I'm very familiar with that shit from both sides, actually. I fogged many an attack from D&T with Symbiote or Korean Ranger.
Yeah.
Even if they play a Symbiote, we can still dismantle them, which is nice.
Yeah, we just want... Our top priority here is obviously just get GTA on as fast as possible so they can't, like, Green Sun... Or, like, get Cradle and, like, Green Sun or Natural Hoof. Or start Allosaurus shepherding us.
Yo, we got Team J-Pro, noted Cube Drafter. What's the question you got, J-Bro? J-Bro had like 50 cube trophies or some absurd amount, like every time I look.
I don't even think I've cubed 50 times in my life.
What is the best use of data from 17 X? All right, this is a very complicated question. I actually think Sam Black wrote a good article about data with regards to draft, which is you shouldn't just trust the data. You should try to understand why the numbers look like that. For instance, that 17 Lands data actually showed that X-Guard Armory was the best uncommon in Kaldheim, but that's the Boros land that searches for an equipment and aura. So it doesn't actually mean I think it's the best uncommon. What it actually means is the decks that go in and you draw it tend to win a lot because there's a good aura or equipment to go get. So you should be looking for explanations for the data, not just trust the data itself. That was a lot of words to say. You need to understand data.
So you're saying that Blade Splicer is better than Channel?
Oh man, I don't even want to get into that one. That was look. I respect that guy, but I think that's also like really, really crazy in a lot of ways. But you know, I'm glad that guy won his first PT, so maybe I should question all my priors, and maybe I'm the one who's wrong. All right, so if they activate, we take 15. But I don't care. 15 is not 20.
That sounds about correct, yes.
The context of cubing, what's best from 17 lines? Was there a cube one posted?
We really want to draw a Plow or a 5th land here. Wow, they didn't even pump. What is happening?
I don't know. They're casting
Green
Zenith.
Sun for X equals 7?
It might be Archon. Archon Valor's Reach.
6. Oh, Archon would be pretty spooky, huh?
So we need a land.
Just easy name instant here.
So if I blocked, were they just not going to activate? They named instant, which is probably correct, right?
Yeah. We have, like, what, 2 artifacts? I guess vials, but, like, 2 actual artifacts in the deck.
That's really awkward with how our lands are set up, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I can still port that and equip.
But then we're dying to Gaia's Cradle on Shepherd, right? I guess we could kill the Shepherd if we wanted to.
Right. So I think I'm supposed to do that.
So
the question is which creature I want to throw away, and it's probably this one.
It's definitely the Stoneforge, but what's the plan after that? How are we beating this Archon?
Probably just hope to draw another white source. Flicker Wisp it for a turn, build up counters. I don't know. It's like kind of convoluted, obviously, but
yeah.
I think all roads start by doing this.
The GTA beats the Archon? Yeah, I guess eventually, like GTA plus.
Eventually, it's slow for sure, but
yeah. But when we get the Allosaurus Shepherd off the board, it's easier to not die. Are we using both the GTA counters and just clearing this Korean Ranger?
I'm thinking about it because it actually denies quite a bit of mana too, right?
Yeah. Denies mana from the Cradle, denies mana.
Oh, also, putting GTA on Flicker was straight up beats Archon too. Like, once you have 2 counters, because it'll be big enough to tussle.
Right? Yeah, we need some number of counters on it, but we need these counters to reduce the number of L's they have in play. So.
Oh, actually, maybe we can get away with not using the second counter.
Just so we can have Wisp.
Yeah.
We need a 5th land to do that, though. Wisp plus GTA. Yeah, because you get to.
So, oh yeah, I think I should just save the counter, actually.
Yeah. Chet's right. It lets the Spirit attack into the Archon safely, too, because it could, like, pump and then ping the Archon down, and they can't just block it with an Elf.
Right.
Yeah. Keeping the counter around is actually really helpful for a lot of reasons. I really want to Wasteland this Cradle, because I think this Cradle is most of the ways we lose, but our mana is just really awkward right now.
I think next turn we might be able to do it and just play the Wisp.
Yeah, depends on what happens.
I mean, we're taking 5, I assume, every time.
Yeah, we might just have to, like, equip to the Spirit and serve or something, though.
Kind of trying to not do that, because, like...
Nice.
But this is part of why, I guess.
Yeah, because, I mean, Okay, they have 1 card left in hand, so their glimpses are, like, pretty dead now anyway, so... they have literally nothing, okay.
Okay. So now we can just play perfectly, I think. So 5... I'm slightly concerned about hardcast Craterhoof.
Yeah, so... We could...
What happens if I Wisp their...
Like, awkward amounts of mana off of doing things that I want to do.
Well, we can Wisp Archon, cast towards the Plowshares, and waste their Cradle.
And then that gets the Wisp in play. The Cradle's gone. We take another 5 from the Archon, go to 7, but then we can put the GTA on our Wisp.
Yeah.
Wisp Archon, equip Spirit, ping Ranger.
Well, that doesn't work, right? Because they can just balk with Arbor. Oh no, you ping the Ranger first. I see.
Ping the Ranger first, and then they chump with a Visionary, or they trade with a Visionary, and then we can... We have 2 GJ counter.
Actually, that looks good. The reason I think that actually looks good is it clears more of their board, and I don't think we need the spirit with them having 0 cards, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was
Yeah.
talking about
Okay.
last turn.
I think that's actually the correct play then. All right, so I have to do this first, and then I have to use the counter on that first. Then I have to equip. Then I have to attack.
Yeah, ping the ranger, right?
Right.
My screen lagged and it looked like you moused over the dried armor. I was like, no, we want to pick the other one.
Oh, I did mouse over it, but I meant like that vicinity of things.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure.
This was actually kind of an interesting game. Kind of close, like despite us having a really good start in the matchup too. Right?
Yeah, and them only to 5.
Did they go to 5?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why it feels close still, isn't it?
That's why it feels close, because they shot
I
themselves in the leg.
Yeah. I mean, we still might lose, obviously, but
They can still top deck like another Allosaurus Shepherd, I think. Well, no.
that doesn't do it, right? They only
Yeah, 'cause
have 5 mana, or they'll have 6 total.
they have
No, but you can
3.
always respond with the Shepherd on the stack by shooting another creature, right?
Yeah. I don't think we need to ping anything right now. They only have 6 mana total. Nothing scary from 6 versus 4, right?
Right. That's my take on the situation.
The scary thing is them finding another green sun or something for oof.
Right. Yeah, but 7's not 8, Sam. They really let their board go away? I don't think they had a lot of choice about their board going away or not. What's this?
6.
It looks like a Zenith, right?
Zenith is unfortunate.
Well, do they even have something to go get?
Oof would be my assumption.
Well, if there's a Zenith for 2 in the stack, I guess I have to respond.
Yeah, I assume they're just anything for a weird number because they're not casting any other spells this turn anyway. They're trying to make us they're trying to pretend they're not going to get oof or something. Okay, no, they're just casting it for 2, very clearly signaling oof.
So what do you think I should do? Probably
have to just ping 2 elves, right?
Yeah,
We're pretty low on answers at this point. We need to find what exactly Skyclave.
Maybe they don't have oof in their main deck, but
yeah, Waste would be good too. We could gain 4 life to last another turn against an Archon and ignore the 1/1s in play.
All right, they don't have main deck oof.
Wow,
which is kind of.
Well, whatever. I mean, if we get bluff like that, that's pretty fine.
It wasn't actually a bluff, right?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't need to. It doesn't not necessarily a bluff, but we had to respect the possibility of them having main deck oof.
Right.
This is a lot easier to beat.
Sort of. I mean, with
100 Thalias. Yeah, the problem is our Wisp can't really attack into this Archon, right?
It can, right? No, it can't.
5/6. It has Vigilance. It's really annoying.
Yeah, Archon's a 5/6. What happens if I just equip to prelate an attack, actually?
They block with Scoos, we get 2 counters.
Yeah. Then, man, I'm so short on every axis, right?
Yeah.
So the reason we used the counters was we were trying to play around oof. But maybe we should just have assumed that they didn't have main deck oof. Alright, I think I am going to make that play, actually, which is equip here, attack, they block, and then just equip here, and just, Man, this is lethal by itself, too?
Yeah, because we can't re-equip and beat the Scavengers, right? We need to play a Thalia to chub block the Scavengers. Archon's going to put us to 2. We could play the Thalia and put the GTA on it and plan on... But then they just don't attack with the Ooze. They only attack with the Archon. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could jump like Thalia with Ooze forever, but we need to get this GTA online too, and we can't really reasonably... I guess the play has to be... Our hand's pretty forced of chump attack with Prelate holding GTA, get 2 counters, play Thalia, go to 2, chump block Ooze on Thalia, put the next turn, put the GTA on the Wisp to fight off the Archon, and play another Thalia to chump attack the Ooze again and keep chump blocking the Ooze until we find something for it.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work, but
yeah, I think that's the only play that keeps us in this game. Yeah, we could find like Wisp or Apparition.
Do we waste the Cradle?
I think so. I guess
Wait, they
maybe
didn't
not.
block?
Oh, wow. All right, we get to keep our thing at least. I don't know, actually, if we waste this Cradle, because all of our answers are 3 mana. Oh, actually, our GTA is still equipped, which is nice. But like, if we draw Skyclave or Wisp, we want to be able to equip our Wisp next turn and play
Actually, yeah, I don't think we should waste then. I think our mana is more important, yeah.
Yeah. Because we want to be able to cast Wisp or Skyclave and equip GTA to our other Wisp in the same turn. Having an extra creature in play to chump block is really nice here.
This is going to be a tight one still. Like, the problem is both of these are basically lethal almost every turn from now on.
Yeah.
This is definitely happening.
And then we just take 6, go to 1.
Yeah, I don't think blocking that obviously makes any sense. I think that's just a red herring. Yep.
We do attack with this Prelate for 2 more GTA counters, though. That's really good. Thank God they didn't block this Prelate. Getting 2 extra GTA counters here is real nice. Hey, that's good. Be careful on what we're casting here.
I think we have to attack first.
Yeah, attack with the Prelate because it's free. They can't block because now we can pump to a 6/6. And then we need to put the GTA on the Wisp, and then I guess we cast Thalia plus Mom. That's our full 5 mana.
Yep.
Okay, that's reasonable. And then the Mom checks the Scoos.
I feel like we got away with a little bit this game.
Yeah. I don't think we should. I mean, they definitely messed up by not blocking the Prelate. I'm pretty sure that was 100% free. And we're a lot worse off in this position if we have 2 GTA counters versus 4.
Yep. The Prelate got to attack for 4 and get 4 GTA counters, which was obviously super insane.
Yeah, and we still just have a Prelate in play, so they can't just top deck Eno and kill us. We get to chump block the Scoos again. Pump our Wisp 3 times, and then ping the Visionary.
One, two, three. So have 7 toughness. That checks out to me, right?
Yep. And then we should stabilize. Because then we have the Mom to chump block the Scavenging Ooze. We can Wasteland this Cradle. Actually, we can just plow the scavengers if we want to. 'Cause we
Exactly.
can plow
Yeah,
back
I
on.
mean, this was dead forever, but it's finally online now.
Yeah, I mean they get to gain like a billion life off the
I mean,
spheres.
their life total doesn't really matter, I think.
Yeah, this GTA is just gonna kill them now. Whew. Yeah, I think we lose that game if they just blocked the
I agree.
prelate.
Yeah, but I mean, you play
Yeah,
it out and see what happens, right?
we take those.
I think, I mean, like, it actually is very hard for me to envision them getting out of this now, right?
Yeah, I think they're just like if they showed that they didn't have an oof in their deck. It's a cool draw.
Is it actually better to waste, or is it better to play Barrow Skull?
Don't I think we just want to kill them as fast as possible, which means putting our 4/4 into play, right?
Yeah, and plus
We
then
just
next
block-
turn you can equip it.
We have 4 GD counters. We can block the scavengers with the Mother of Runes and Pro Green, so
Yep.
they're still down on mana to like actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they still can't.
Well, this is
like,
definitely
cast
attacking. So
for something.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't have oof. Otherwise, that ooze would have been an oof, right?
Yeah. Gonna eat more things, sure.
I auto yield to the ooze now. We can Voltron next turn. Which is actually probably the fastest way to kill them, to be fair. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that was an insane one.
It works so hard for your wins for ourselves after they like mold a 5 and miss.
I know. I mean, that's just how bad the matchup is. Like,
yeah, we went turn 2 Spirit, turn 3 Prelate on 4, and then still almost lost.
All right. Well, we do have a few nice tools. This one for sure. All right. I want to shout out one card that you should not side in, and that is Deafening Silence. For those of you, I've seen this happen more than once. I'm just like, you should read the card, y'all.
It happened on Reduke's stream when he was streaming the.
Yes, that's the one I actually am thinking of.
God, it's so frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the rationale for not killing their elves with GTA before they untap their Cradle on the turn they Zenith for Scoos?
Because
we wanted GTA counters available to equip a Wisp with a GTA with counters on it, so it can block an Archon.
All right,
one counter to kill an Archon.
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to have these two. All right, which of these cards is not actually good? Because I assume there's. I guess that's good.
Bring in this cage.
Oh wow, we have so many cards to side in.
Also, you can like debatably bring in Cataclysm, but we'll see what's bad first. Thalia is an easy cut.
I assumed as much, but I wanted to check because I don't know. Maybe you have some weirdo logic for not cutting it.
Nah, it's just bad. Battle Skull is a pretty easy cut. It's very clearly your third best equipment.
Is Path actually good?
That's good enough. Generally you want it for like answers for Collector Roof. If they didn't have it main, they probably have it post board.
Right.
Ability to attack through like Quarian Ranger or the other guy, Symbiote, if you need to. And then at this point I start like just shaving on Wisps. Like I know flying is like kind of important as for similar reasons that we just talked, like getting through those like chump block cards, but it's just the worst card in your deck at this stage.
Kellen says, I feel like Sophie was the third best equipment.
Sophie's like bad GT.
But bad GT is better than Barrow Skull, right?
Bad GT is better than Barrow Skull generally, yeah. So
you want to have only one Wisp in your deck.
Yeah, we have enough. You have enough stuff between Apparition, Path, Plow, that, and I guess we have this Revoker too. That
It's kind of weird. Like, actually, if we get Mother of Runes plus Keeper plus enough lands, I think the way their deck is constructed, they can't win.
Yeah, Peacekeeper plus Prelate on 2 is usually the hard block for ourselves.
Aim still Sideboard Sword of Feast and Fan? I don't know. It's like not the unreasonable. This has to be a keep if our deck is constructed like this, I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely keep.
Yeah. Actually, the stand's pretty good, so like I don't know.
I don't think bad GTA is better than Batterskull against Collector for Rep Decay deck. Well, I think that the reason you want a bad GTA is because your good GTA gets Abrupt Decayed.
Yeah, you just have to have 2 GTAs, even if well, we really just need time, but we can develop a lot of time, maybe.
Yeah, we have good plan. This is like the last game, right? We have Containment Priest for Natural Order and Greens and Zenith. We have Canonist for A Glimpse of Nature.
Yeah, the real problem is our opponent didn't go to 5 cards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is a real problem.
Oh, these are all scary cards our opponent is casting.
It's really good this game.
I wish our opponent would stop casting spells.
All right, what am I supposed to do this turn? I don't know anymore.
You just have to leave up Containment Priest.
No Holy Light Sag. I think. Wait, hold on. If I leave a Containment Priest, don't they just attack for 20?
Oh yeah, now we're just supposed to Ballista this Allosaurus. Oh no, we can't even Ballista Allosaurus Shepherd because they have a symbiote.
Why don't we just play Revoker Naming Shepherd?
We just have to revoke Shepherd and pray they have nothing else.
Yeah, but I think it's correct, right? Because we're actually literally dead on board.
Yeah, we're dead to Allosaurus Shepherd if we don't do.
Oh, that's crazy. Their hand was quite good this game.
Yeah, this is a lot better than their last hand. Don't give them that.
Well, I mean, they didn't mulligan to Oblivion, right?
They kept a 7. Also, this was just like a very solid 7. Like that was their turn too.
I'm just looking at it like, wait, 5, 6, wait, 5 times 4. Wait, that's very lethal. Oh, wait, I'm probably dead. It's whatever.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we couldn't play Canonist and Revoker this turn.
No, we were on the draw because we won game 1. Is D&T reasonable? It's fine. This is not the matchup we were looking for, that's for sure. On a scale of 1 to dead, probably like 7/8 dead, if I had to guess.
Yeah, that sounds about accurate.
It's kind of weird because I actually think in a lot of post-board games, they can weirdly flood out in cards that are not that good to draw. Especially if they have no black mana. Yeah,
the general issue is that even if the Glimpse just like draws 4 cards, we still just like never beat that.
Dryad Arbor is kind of a good sign because that's not a black source.
Yeah, or like a second Cradle.
Whoa, really?
Whoa, they're just done.
My read on the situation is they're flooded then.
Yeah, like no spells. Like their hand can only be lands and Abrupt Decays, right?
Or Progenitus. Don't forget that one.
Yeah. Or the Archon or whatever. But I can't imagine that's in post board.
So now what?
So I'm a little scared of if they do have Abrupt Decay, how we're beating this Allosaurus Shepherd, right?
So do you want to just play Ballista on 1? That doesn't seem very good. I think we're supposed to try to fade a turn, actually.
Yeah, because we can't actually beat that, I don't think.
Yeah. I think what I'm actually supposed to do is say go.
And just hold up Priest plus Canonist?
Yeah. And then next turn play a Ballista on 2, use a counter to shoot Symbiote.
Yeah, and then Ballista on 2 can finally clear the Shepherd.
Yep. Obviously this is bad because they get to draw a bunch of cards too, but like whatever. What can I do? Not much is the answer.
They only get to draw 1 card. As soon as they play a Visionary, you Violin Etherstorm Canonist.
Right. Okay, you're right. I was thinking about that, but I didn't say it, so I confused myself.
Yeah, as soon as they put any spell on the stack, just activate Vial. Yep, just immediately don't let them cast any other spells. I almost don't want to put in this Containment Priest.
I was thinking about that.
We could leave the Vial on 2 and give ourselves the
Yeah,
option of putting in Priest next turn or Stoneforge if they don't cast Anno or Green Sun.
I think we're actually supposed to do that for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, because we really want to get this Stoneforge online.
Yep.
And next turn we're spending all our mana on Ballista for 2.
It was just that this turn it was correct to leave up both in case something really weird happened.
Yeah, in case if they just untap and cast Natural Order.
Well, then we yes.
Or cast just like a big Green Sun for Hoof or something.
And the other thing is, if we put in Priest, we can't use our Vial, which is actually huge. Oh man, we would have gotten a Dryad Arbor, though.
Wow, unlucky.
That Dryad Arbor does not matter, I think, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, we could have also cast the Canonist, actually. That's interesting, I didn't think about that. Oh well, so have you.
Big Ballista, shoot the Symbiote, say go. Yep. Do we want to shoot anything else?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a million mana with this Cradle. There's no reason to shoot the Heritage Druid. They find an answer for the Revoker. We can ping the Allosaurus Shepherd. We can, if they don't cast a Green Sun or a Natural Order, we can put in Stoneforge, grab G-Tag, get that going.
Yeah, we might be fine. It's going to be, like, weirdly close, obviously, in a lot of ways,
yeah.
but...
This is,
Oh, no!
Hopefully this is a Green Sun and not a hard cast.
I know, I'm just hoping...
Fingers crossed. Hold.
Hold!
9 mana! Oh. Yeah, get him. Fucking get him. Yeah. Nice.
And they can't cast anything this turn except for artifacts.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Crater Hoof Behemoth. That one kills 9,000% of the time there.
Yes, that is the one card we did not want to see them put on the stack this turn.
It would, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus 20. It would be 34, so it's like ultra lethal. I'm counting us pinging the Shepherd in response. No, I can say the name now because they've used their turn.
Yeah, notably they're less likely to have it because they had the Archon too, which means they're probably on only a 1-hoof build.
Exactly, yeah. That's good to note. I'm allowed to say it now, Louis. It's just when on that critical turn you're not allowed to say, "Oh no, I can't do that." Right. I was about to do that and that doesn't work. Maybe I just activate and shoot 2 arbors.
Does that keep them off of critical mana?
1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. They only have 4 if I do that, right?
Problem is we're like really far away from doing anything else at that point, right? Because we have nothing. We can give them 1 draw step to hit exactly Crater of Behemoth here if we just cast.
You're right.
We can just Stoneforge plus GTA or Stoneforge plus Mom. Mom can
hold on. Why don't I just shoot the Shepherd with the Ballista anyways?
And we don't need to just to keep them off of a mana?
Yeah. And play around a removal spell on Revoker.
I mean, why do we have to do that now? If you just want to deny them 1 mana off the Cradle?
Kind of. Maybe that's wrong.
They have how much mana right now? If we shot it, they'd have 4,
2, 3, 4, 5.
Maybe that's right.
5. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, right?
Oh, if we shoot the Shepherd, they have Cradle is 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, maybe I should shoot an Arbor then.
Shooting an Arbor puts them to 6.
Yeah. Well,
we have creatures that we could chump block Shepherd for a turn too. So it's less scary. Do we want to play the Mom here or the GTA? Getting the Mom online is kind of interesting.
Then I'm going to play the Mother Runes so they can't kill the GTA with like a weird card.
I mean, they could always kill the GTA, but they can't kill. They can start protecting our Priest and our Canonist.
Right. So I think this is. Oh shit! I can't play it.
Oh
obviously.
Right.
So I should just play the GTA, right?
You can only play the GTA. Yeah. Right. That's how our cards work.
So should I shoot one? One.
Shooting one keeps them off of. We can't vial. We have a containment priest in play. Shooting one keeps them off of natural hoof this turn, right? They burned their second cradle. If you want to not roll the dice on the 1 in 44 for them to rip hoof here, then probably shoot an arbor.
Yeah, I think I'm going to actually. It's kind of complicated, but I think this is actually correct, even though it looks really goofy.
We need the ballista to get you through Symbiote or Ranger. Yeah,
well,
I
mean, eventually we'll get it because of the Mother runes, right?
Yeah, it would buy them a turn if they find Symbiote or Ranger.
And it has to. They have to draw it. They can't just draw like a Zenith, you know?
Yeah. Nice. Draw one card.
All right. Well, now we're going to bin a bunch of their stuff, right?
Yeah.
Probably. All right. Yeah, they don't even want to play. Well, that's how you beat Elves 2-0.
We draw all of our hate cards.
Well, also, our opponent glimpsed and bricked off.
Yeah.
But
our opponent...
no. To be fair, what happened on... So turn 2, they played a lot of creatures. If they had the glimpse, it might have actually been better not to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, but they were planning on just Allosaurus. They were setting up Allosaurus Shepherd.
Okay, sure.
And then we happened to revoker them.
Well, that was a kind of a satisfying one. We have not lost a game yet. I think there's a little bit of a luck element on the positive side there.
No, the deck's just unbeatable.
Well, I mean, in this n=6, that's actually true, right?
We've crafted the perfect D&T deck list.
Oh, actually, I'm debating using the batsman because that game took a while. Actually, that might be smart. All right, sorry, chat. Be right back for round 4. Yo, what's up? Let's read the chat. JR's face doesn't access him out. Yeah, something's weird with the picture. Wait. Nope, that's not it. Actually, maybe that is it. Oh, maybe that was it the entire time, actually.
I figured you just wanted my face really zoomed in, so everyone could
No, I forgot I had set a weird filter, actually. Sorry about that. No, the mouse is nice, obviously. Who wouldn't want the mouse? Hold on. Let me fix that.
I look so young in that picture.
Yeah, a young XJ.
It's only 4 years ago.
Really? That does not look like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
actually, let's clarify. This last year was essentially a decade, so that doesn't really count. XJ baby face, yeah. Okay, that
2017.
Really? That was 4 years ago?
Yeah, we were playing I forget where we were. We were somewhere in St. Louis. We were playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I remember sitting at that little restaurant.
Ferendo's 43 now? Wow, Matt, you're old. Matt's even older than I am. Holy
That's super old. 43 is like ancient.
Oh, welcome Army of Thalia. Oh, must be a follower of yours. Holy crap! Why can't I talk?
Yeah, Army's a good friend of mine.
Well, the question is, how many Thalias do they have in play at once?
I think his answer's gotta be one. I don't think he's had more than one Thalia in play.
Do you know there was a proto where I registered Thalia's Lancers in my sideboard? Do you know what that card does?
I do know what that card does because it was really good in the Pioneer Vanifar deck before they banned Felidar.
Sure. So the actual answer is I discovered how to beat zombies as Marty vehicles, which was you sided out all of your shitty creatures and you sided in Thalia's Lancers, Bracella, and Gisela. The fucking you know what I'm talking about. The big thing.
The two meld angels.
And at that PTA, I played against a very salty Italian who I beat in game 1, which was the bad game for me. In game 2, I just like assembled this on turn 6. Because I had the Gisela, the 4/3 natural in my hand. He actually killed it with like Fatal Push because you could. And then I played Lancers going into Bruna. Then I cast Bruna. And then I reanimated the Gisela. And then there's this big thing that doesn't let them cast spells.
Amazing.
Also in that tournament, I cast Thalia's Lancers for Sky Sovereign Console Flagship, which is super sweet.
That is a combo.
Yeah, it's a legendary card. You can go grab it with your Thalia's Lancers.
Yeah, I think the only legendary cards I've grabbed with Thalia's Lancers are Saheeli and Vanifar.
Oh yeah, Stefan at the very beginning of Pioneer built all of the like 4-color Oath of Nissa Saheeli decks that had Oko. Because he's like, yeah, Oko and Teferi are broken. I'm like, yeah, you seem about right. And they instantly banned all of those things, so.
Yeah, I mean, well deserved, because those decks were extremely fucked up.
Well, yes, it turns out if you just play like Impulse, Adventurous Impulse, and the broken cards, your deck is just great. What is this person play? J France. It says B? Is that Reanimator? No, their last deck was Mono Black Umori Steel Stompy.
Oh, spicy.
I mean, this hand is not good.
Not good.
So. They have a Lucille on their side? This is one of the fake cards, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's when it attacks, we sack a creature and they make a 2/2 zombie, essentially.
Yeah, and gives a thing menace, so it's basically impossible to block. You need like 3 creatures.
Alright, well, I'm shipping this hand because it's quite bad.
Yeah. And it's very bad.
This is why you complain about white source count, isn't it?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I seriously think any number that is over 4 ports, 4 wastelands is absolutely incorrect. And I think if I could feasibly do it, I would play 7 colorless sources. But like Rishadan Port Wasteland are like too good.
All right, I guess I'm pressed into keeping, which is
keeping those and bottoming one of many lands.
I hope they're not Steel Stompy. Oh,
nice. This is actually a good matchup. I mean, our hand is horrendous, but they're like Chalice us.
Oh, they. All right. I mean, now I have a 4-card hand, but it's also fine.
This matchup is also just insanely good.
Planes go, I assume, right?
Yeah, planes go. Get rabbled, revoke the Mox.
I mean, we are soft to a lot of things here. Okay, we're not soft to that.
Wow. They have nothing. Deal. Love that Chalice of the Void just always manages to crush me in my like deck with 12 1-drops.
So revoke Mox, right?
Yeah, it's our only, literally our only play.
I was trying to figure out what land to play, but I actually think it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, is he on the giant one? Yeah.
has first strike. I guess that doesn't really matter.
Skyclave? No. Wasteland plus 3/1.
I assume I'm wasting them, right?
Yeah, definitely. This deck is like glutted with 4-mana spells.
What 4-mana spells do you play?
Just all the giants.
I mean, I don't know what giants are actually.
I've never looked at his Nathan.
White
whatever his last name is.
White Pits, yeah.
Yeah, he like put this deck together that's just like mono 4-mana giants. There's like 2 of them in call time or something.
This is kind of annoying, but
I'm playing a Ballista and attacking for 5.
I hope it doesn't get trample. I
Yeah,
think maybe I should chump just to save life points, right? And also chump while I can chump, because if it ever gets flying, then you lose a turn off the chumping.
Oh yeah, maybe. Oh, that's scary.
I think I might be dead actually, but Death Touch first strike and reach. All right. I think I should block actually. I've thought about it more. But I think blocking earlier is actually better for all of the reasons I listed, you know?
Yeah, probably.
Even though it is random and it is actually very tilting to lose to RNG like that, but, you know, if you block earlier, you might be able to prevent it. Okay, that's excellent. So right. I believe I should take off or actually maybe I should just take this off.
They're instantly going to roll hexproof. But yeah, you have to hit the chalice here.
Yeah, I think that's just correct.
Yeah. Do we... No, we don't attack with Spirit. I think we plan on like...
Yeah, I want to trade. I don't want to trade.
Statistically good odds to block this Crystalline Giant. I think.
It's bad if it gets...
Flying first strike or 1/1 are the...
Well, Menace too, right? All right, we get to block that. Oh, this has... That's fine. I actually think I'm... Yep. Oh, actually, if I draw... Okay, well, this is just happening 100% of the time.
Yep.
I actually think they shouldn't attack until this gets another good keyword.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Can I read Tectonic Giants?
Okay, it's whenever... It's actually a pretty good card, I think.
It casts Lava Spike or Sleight of Hand. Or whenever it attacks or becomes the target of something.
Yeah. Oh, spells only. If you Skyclave it doesn't get that, actually.
Yeah.
Right. But this is still happening regardless.
Yeah. So we want to draw...
That's good. That's really good, actually.
That's probably what we want to draw, huh?
So I think I just plow this one for sure, attack, and probably end up plowing that and playing...
We have to plow. We don't want it to get hexproof, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think I just have to plow both of these. But I want to plow this first to see what it rolls, right?
Yeah. Plow both, play Mom. What is that's fine. I mean, that's fine.
Isn't it not going to matter versus Mother of Runes?
Yeah, I mean,
well, actually,
matters if they have like another Tectonic Giant or whatever.
Or a Bone Crusher, actually. Bone Crusher gets through Mother of Runes.
Yeah. We have to plow this Crystalline Giant.
Yeah.
Attack them for 4.
I just hope they flood out now. With like Chrome Moxes and shit. You know how it is. You've played this style of deck.
Yeah. I think this specific iteration is like pretty bad because the big thing about the red Stompy deck... Oh, geez, that's a good draw. The big thing about the red Stompy decks is that they really, really need to draw enough mana to cast their spells in addition to their lock pieces. This deck can't really mulligan super aggressively and is a lot more susceptible to like Wastelands and stuff.
So what should I get? Do you think it's Batter Skull?
Probably Batter Skull.
Yeah. That looks correct to me.
Yeah.
Am I tapping this Sun Clearing to play this? I think I am.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of reach in this deck, I have to imagine.
They have Bone Crushers. which
Bone
deal
Crusher.
4 damage. So you just have to be careful about that. Oh no, it's not 4. It's only 2.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, it's only 2. That part doesn't get doubled.
Also, this is not doubled by Obosh. I always forget that every time.
Oh yeah, that's an easy one to fuck up.
Yeah, because your deck is all the same parity. Is the math term? The parity. All
Starting to
right.
get scary.
Well, not really. The Mother Rune just colds everything, right?
Yeah, but it's threatening that they wait. Do those
Agreed.
stack? Does it? How does that? Do they
It
do
does.
like
They do.
quadruple
Yep.
damage?
Don't let it hit you. You die. That is what I'll say. Yeah. I guess you've never played.
Tectonic Giant probably just murders us.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping to not let it get to that point, but do I cycle this?
Yes.
That's kind of good, actually.
Yeah. Obviously, we have to give them their turn.
Yeah.
Mana here.
I guess I still play the port in case if I draw another port, though, right?
Yeah. Or Wasteland.
Back when I used to play lands a lot, I would just have stops everywhere to fuck with my opponents because it was actually strategically correct a lot of the time.
Oh, that's scary.
That's bad.
It doesn't kill us though, because we can attack with the Batter Skull Ray and go to 13.
Yeah.
It like deals
but
us 12.
sucks. That was like among their best draws, I think.
Yeah, definitely. That was among our worst draws. Punch him with the Batter Skull.
Yeah, I don't even protection it. I don't think that does anything.
Yeah. We'd rather use this mom on defense.
Yep. Fortunately, if they attack us and put us to 1, we do get to block in pro red.
Yes, they don't have good attacks here.
Oh, did I forget to port them?
You did.
Wait, so I die because of that?
Yes.
I'm a moron. Shit. Oh! It's because I took the stop off. Wait, didn't I put it back on? Ugh, I'm such an idiot. Okay, well, that's on me. Whatever, that's fine. Oh.
They might have had a 4th land, to be fair. Like, they had 2 cards in that they just weren't playing. They could have easily had a 4th land and still killed us.
No, they don't.
There.
We have Revoker on Chrome Mox.
Yeah, but like...
Yeah.
Oh, the percentage, yeah. They could have easily had another land that they just weren't playing because the city produced more mana, but if we had ported them, they could have just gone 4th land.
Yeah, I know, but, I mean, clearly we gave them something that on board didn't really make a lot of sense, which is fine. I think this card is bad.
Yeah, second probably doesn't seem very good here. Council's Judgment seems pretty good.
Question in the chat about lands. I wrote articles a long time ago on CFB and Gathering Magic. You can probably Google them. I think most of the things I said are still true, except just think about Force of Negation nowadays. That's a card that you have to worry about.
Probably cuttings.
Yeah, Spirit seems bad. Like, obviously it traded with the Crystalline Giant, but it was not very good. Court is for control decks. I guess I would probably side it in versus something like lands, too, to be quite fair.
Yeah, matchups that you expect to go to, like, turn 10 or whatever. Generally is where you want court.
Anything else? No, not really.
You can cut, like, a Thalia.
Yeah. It's not amazing. It's, like, exactly okay.
Yeah, not a thrilling card by any means.
That was sad. But maybe we will draw some...
Yeah, maybe we won't draw 4/1 drops into a chalice.
Also, I punted right there, obviously. I'm not going to call a spade anything besides a spade, because if they didn't have a land, then it matters a lot that I did that.
Yeah, then there's a pretty good chance we win that game.
Alright, I guess I'm in for
Snap
this.
keep.
Can't believe I did that. That was really bad, actually. Is Stomping Giants in tier 1? I don't know. My suspicion is no, but it does look amusing. I don't know.
It's a sweet deck, but I think it's the third best way to build Blood Moon Stompy.
Just to check, their deck does have Blood Moon, right?
Yeah, definitely. Easy port.
Yeah, this time I have to stop back on. I'm usually pretty good about that. Just over years of having Rishadan Port in all my decks.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. Don't think we ever beat this card.
That's really bad for me, isn't it?
This card is very close to unbeatable.
Sad. I have one Council's Judgment in my deck, right?
Yeah. Or you just like naturally draw equipment. It's the other way to beat it.
But all my creatures are really bad now. I don't think I'm supposed to play this. I think I'm supposed to port them.
Definitely just keep porting. We just want to buy time to find the only cards in our deck that matter.
We're mostly dead. Our deck is reduced to like 2-mana 1/2s and 3-mana 1/1s that are not good.
Resolves. Just name Aether Vial here. I guess maybe there's a chance you just name like sort of Fire and Ice or something, because like
port.
Interesting.
I think that's not unreasonable, actually.
Yeah, it depends on the context of their hand. If they don't have more lands, they're trying to cast their spells to kill us.
I think I should actually play this Silent Clearing this turn.
Yeah. Probably just going to cycle and Violent a 1/1. I guess we cycle now because we could draw like that.
It's not really terribly exciting, but it's what I've got, right?
One of our better creatures at this stage.
True. In the land of 3-mana 1/1s, a 1-mana 1/1 that actually does something is kind of a good card.
Is Blood Moon Zombie the best deck in Legacy? Best Legacy deck for someone who hates making decisions? It's pretty high up there.
And you can say that because you've played a lot with it.
Yeah, I played a lot of it.
I feel like I'm not the best person to ask that.
Very good for the only decisions you really have to make are early game sequencing decisions.
Or mulliganing, actually.
Yeah.
Like I think that's actually where people lose a lot.
Yeah, mulliganing's a pretty important skill, but you know.
I'll path on their turn.
Yep.
But I kind of have to, I think. I think I'm just dead, actually, because like my hand is really bad, and
yeah, we could draw like Batter Skull or Sword of Fire and Ice.
They found another one.
It's not the best thing in the
that
world.
card. I'm pretty sure that card's the best card in their deck, actually. Having watched these games now,
very well may be the only good creature in their deck.
The other ones are kind of just there because you have to fill it out if you're keeping on theme. Well, actually, Bone Crusher is pretty messed up.
Oh yeah, Bone Crusher is a real good card. Batter Skull. Well, not the best card in the world, but
this is better than nothing.
Crazy. Find the third Tectonic Giant.
Yeah, the problem is it actually does like dig them closer to more of them. All right, nice. Confession, I only call John JR now because his wife calls him that and it sounds cooler. Well, that's a great reason. I don't know. Like,
surprising number of people call me JR. Did not start happening until like college.
Oh no.
All right. This resolves. Draw Batter Skull. Also accept Sword of Fire and Ice.
Or GT.
Yeah.
Alright, time to leave these on. Maybe I should have just left one on 2.
Alright, well.
Alright, fired in there. Question is, should I attack with Mother Runes? Kind of feel
Probably
like
not.
Really?
I mean, I don't think that the extra damage is going to win us this game. I think there's a chance that we need this Mother of Runes in play to prevent some sort of red damage-based removal spell like that. Oh, never mind. Oh, wait,
no, it does work. It still targets.
Yes.
So it means they have another one, probably, I guess.
Nope. They just fucked up.
No, they might have fire confluence or something. I like.
Oh yeah,
I
but
don't
like
really like assuming someone messed up just because of that. All right, they did have something.
that's a pretty good something, huh?
I think I feel fully dead now.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to concede.
No, bone crusher targets. That's why. If
Yeah.
if you're like blocking and then they have. Oh well.
All right, pack it in.
Wait. Let me see. Is there anything I
Draw,
could draw?
draw your batter skull. It doesn't do enough.
All right.
Nice. All right.
Well, that was a stomping, pun intended.
Yeah, sometimes you win your bad matchups and lose your good matchups, and that's Magic the Gathering.
I mean, I threw game one, and this game was just not winnable. So sometimes you throw.
Torpor was like really close to unbeatable as current D&T deck lists are configured, but like there aren't enough people actually playing Torpor to reasonably try to like counterplay that. Sometimes you just have to get got.
The only card I would reasonably expect to that's like a reasonable card to play is like Second Council's Judgment.
Yeah, but like Council's Judgment is just so much worse with Skyclave existing in a lot of instances.
Except versus Torpor Orb, obviously.
Yeah, except for Torpor Orb. It's like if more people started playing Torpor Orbs, then like sure.
I mean, I guess.
Seems not exciting, but
Do you mulligan? Yeah, I mean you have 2 ports to mess with them too, right?
yeah, it's probably fine, especially on the play.
The counterplay is choose a different deck and versus Shark Typhoon. Well, wait, Shark Typhoon? I don't understand the Shark Typhoon reference. Why are we concerned about Shark Typhoon?
Oh, the other reasons to play Council's Judgment over Skyclave.
Oh, sure. Expensive permanents, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's reasonable.
Just like control decks are playing like a 1 of Shark Typhoon. Sometimes these Stompy decks play like a 1 of Torpor. And then like you with your deck that doesn't have any actual like card selection, it's just like, do you want to play a second Council's Judgment just for those cards? When Skyclave is so much better.
Do you port or mother here? It's a kind of interesting question, I think.
I'm kind of like porting, just based on how our mana plays out.
It smells like a Delver deck, by the way.
Yeah, Folk Bolt. It's not a lot of decks except Delver.
Getting... Alright. I clicked on it and it, like, lagged, so I was scared to click again, because who knows what that'll do. Probably nothing bad, but you just don't risk it, right? Oh! I smell blood in the water!
Hey, we did it. Oh, nice. We undrew Vial. Don't even have to cast this Mother of Runes. The ultimate reward.
They probably have to force if they have a force. Alright.
Deal.
I think I just port them again, obviously.
Yep. Worked out pretty well last turn.
This hand's very tired? What does that mean? I literally do not know what that means. Alright, that makes sense.
Yeah. Brick. No lands.
You and Ari really are the same person. You really just don't want them to draw lands ever.
Yeah, well, if they draw lands, then they can continue to play the game. If they don't, then they die. I'd much rather them just die.
Oh!
Oh, nice. They're dead. We did it. We won the game of Magic.
Well, you might be talking a little bit too soon, because my hand literally doesn't do very much, but I'm also just not going to let them cast any spells.
Yeah. Maybe they have, like, another Brainstorm they can cast in this upkeep. But if they don't, they might have, like, a Bolt for this Mom here. There's still a game to be played, certainly.
No!
Wow, how
Whatever.
rude.
It's fine. We'll draw something good. We'll draw like a Thalia or something.
Yeah.
Or a Wasteland. I mean, I think I'd rather draw creatures rather than land destruction by this point, but... I'm still thinking about that 4 Preordain, 4 Ponder, 4 Brainstorm Grixis person. It's just like kind of wild.
Luna wants a wasteland. I don't want to win. I just want to watch my opponent lose.
They draw land. What a walker.
Wow.
I'm being sarcastic, chat, by the way.
What a jerk. Hey, our mom on tap. That's also extremely good for us.
Don't really think
they'll have to fetch an upkeep unless they found a third land off the brainstorm too. So like we get to just double port them.
Yeah, I'm not attacking, obviously. I think that is 100% wrong here. Even though I do love attacking, you know that.
Though I played some Giver of Runes. Are they gonna just go to draw step? Just let them, yeah. Did they find a third land off the brainstorm with the?
Does this accomplish anything?
I don't think so. They don't know the top card of their deck anymore. They've drawn both their brainstorm cards.
Sure.
So. They did find a third land. Goif. Do we want to Skyclave that?
I'm trying to work it through.
We will have 6 mana, so if we Skyclave, we get a clock going. We can't double port, but we can just port them off the green and still play through days.
I don't know. It's kind of close, right? All right. I guess I'll try Skyclaving, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm interested in Skyclaving just because we have the mom in play, which means they're just in game 1 they're almost never getting their token. Why not plow now and triple port them? I mean that is a possibility, but like we need a caster. We need to kill them. Can't just afford to sit here forever. What does Rugdale Raven do with double volcanic? Oh, now we get to like wasteland port them if we want to. Yeah, I just want to kill them. I just want to put my 2/2.
I was just trying to figure out if it mattered what lands I tapped, and I came to the conclusion it doesn't actually.
No, not unless you wanted to also plow this after this gets forced.
All right, this was the punish, but I can just plow it next turn, so I think it's fine. What am I doing? Killing their red sources, you think? Or do I kill a green and port a red?
It's better in general to wasteland red and port green because their green's all sorcery speed. But if we ever want to like not port them for a turn, say we draw like Batterskull or something, it's better to take them fully off one color, right?
So I think I'm gonna just waste the green and port a red then.
That's probably what I would do. Especially with Mother Runes in play as well. Like instant speed red mana isn't really that threatening.
Whoa, they didn't attack. I just attack there every time if I'm.
Yeah, I'm never blocking.
Exactly, that's why you should attack. It's just free damage. Do I even care about this Tarmogoyf? Like,
I mean, we're also double porting, but I guess they could always have a land and bolt afterwards. We can probably just afford to wait a little bit at least.
I agree.
Player on second force of negation.
Will we draw more ports than they draw lands? And the answer appears to be yes so far. Let's see. Well, now I'm going to block.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to force the waste activation?
There's no reason not to, right? Unless you're casting this plow. Porting is just free.
Yeah.
They either activate it or they tap it.
Whoa, we got a big raid from Yellow Hat. What's up, buddy?
That is a big raid.
Hat, how was your stream? How was the historic or whatever you're playing?
Okay, now I'll probably plow the Goyf.
Fair enough. Don't think I'm ever attacking.
Yeah, we'll just sit here and wait until we draw a creature. That's why I wanted to get the Skyclave in place so we could be attacking here. But
agreed, but it's hard for them to do anything. Yeah, Hat, I plan on watching it with Dom tomorrow during the day. The Kaldheim Championship.
Creature.
Ooh,
Sick.
all right.
That's a good one.
Yep. I mean, keep double porting them. They cost exactly the right amount of mana.
No force.
All right,
And,
okay, yeah. I mean, that's reasonable, right?
yeah. We finally found a way to kill them. We go get battered full, keep double boarding them, they never win.
That one kills really fast, so that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, they showed us Uro. It was pitched to Force of Will, by the way, or Force of Negation. I don't remember which. So these are a slam.
Yeah, this is where sideboarding gets a little awkward because nowadays you just have so many good cards for Stelver.
Yeah, but I think we can manage to finagle it out. I think Walking Bliss is like kind of not very good generally.
Yep, Ballista's really bad. Only like it versus Young Pyro, Delver decks.
Yep.
Revoker is obviously horrendous. And then probably start chopping away at like Thalias and Recruiters. It's weird that Thalia is like the cut versus Delver because
but I think the dynamic of the matchup has changed quite a bit over the years, actually.
Yeah, with the advent of Skyclave Apparition, you do just genuinely get to play the I have 12 removal spells. I will just kill you with inevitability.
So you like this versus them, right?
Yeah, I got a lot better after Oko left, just because putting it on one ices them a lot of the time. Post-board, it does get worse because they'll have like Abrades or Ancient Grudges or Rough Tumbles and stuff. But
wait, what does Ancient Grudge do versus this card?
Well, not versus that card specifically, but they still have interaction. That
Got it. All right. Yeah, I think I'm satisfied with this.
We could potentially board out the Prelate for them bringing like a Thalia or something.
Yeah, no, I think John's point was that Ancient Grudge interacts with our vials and equipment while getting run Prelate.
Yeah. Game one's versus Delver, you put Prelate on one, and it's like suddenly they don't get to cast anything besides creatures anymore.
There's a new version of Ancient Grudge?
There's a new art of it.
Is that what they mean? I got it.
Dog art.
Do you keep?
That has a lot of good cards.
But there's no planes. If this was a planes, I think it's actually... You're probably...
If this is a planes, I think this is a snap keep.
Alright, I think I'm just going to ship then. But it's certainly close.
I might keep this, but I'm also a little bit greedy. We're on the draw.
This hand's, I think, much better.
Bottom of the Caracas.
Yeah. So in those situations when I'm not sure nowadays, especially in constructed, I just tend to mull because London mull is so kind of
that's fair. Borderline keeps are usually worse than just like London mulling into a good 6. That's definitely like a reasonable heuristic.
I think I just play into days, right?
Yeah, you just slam Vial.
Yeah. And if they don't have it, then like everything's insane. So
if they don't have it, we have Vial. If they do have it, we still have enough mana to cast the rest of our spells.
I think if we didn't have like so many spells to cast, we would actually consider waiting a turn, right?
Yeah. Definitely have to evaluate when. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Okay, well that's why they let that resolve probably, but do you think I just play Spirit now?
Yeah, unless we draw like Thalia or something.
Of course. I think I play Spirit off planes.
Yep. They have a Wasteland. We want to be able to cast our Fleet Wisp on turn 3 potentially. Man, I was so ready to vial a Spirit on a Brainstorm, but I guess that's not happening in this game. Wow. That does not seem like a correct board in.
Actually, when I'm playing Rogue versus D&D, I usually do, if I have in my sideboard.
Do you just want the extra land?
Yeah, extra land helps, and also it bounces Thalia.
Yeah, as we board it out.
And also, it's actually weird, in the situations where you have Rip, but I have Uro plus Caracas, then I can like at least assemble Whispers.
Yeah, I was about to say, it actually is okay, like a weird engine with Uro, so yeah, maybe.
I think I just waste their Volk.
Yeah. There's a world that we can cast Wisp our Wasteland and then waste the Volk, but
I think I should just do this first. Like they didn't play a cantrip, they didn't play another boost horse. I think I'm just gonna plow upkeep.
Yeah, that's also fair.
I mean, I agree with you. This is not free, but keep in mind it's usually replacing a spell. So I don't think like, you know what I mean. It's not like this replaced a blue source, right?
Yeah.
Probably just play Flicker Wisp now off of Caracas.
Yeah.
Because I don't really care if they. I mean, I guess there's merit for me waiting for another 3-drop, but that's just so slow. And I guess
like flicker their null rod and Valorant 3.
Yeah, but I don't think that's good.
They have nothing going on.
And they can't even
3-drop, we just cast it.
Exactly, that's the conclusion I came to.
They can't wasteland us off 3 mana too, so we have the port.
Oh, you hate to see it.
You mean you love to see it?
I just think it's kind of funny.
Rug Delver with waste Caracas in play.
All right, I'm not playing the port, unless if you think I should for some reason.
Oh, you're just want to conserve it in case we draw 3-drop. That's reasonable. Yeah, if they draw blue source, like they can still cast anything with blue source plus Caracas anyway, like a Tarmogoyf or whatever. It's not like they have double colorless spells that they're going to cast.
So the real question is, do I play this Vial? And the reason I ask that is Daze, I guess, in some weird scenario. Like Daze and... Oh, I guess if I draw a 3-drop, I'll want to play the 3-drop anyways, though, so...
This Vial's never doing anything right? Like, it's never doing anything in our hand, and, like... There's no, like, discard effect. They're not going to K-command us or whatever.
Yeah.
And there is some weird world that we eventually find Skyclave for the null rod or whatever.
Or maybe this game will just continue like this, which is
or maybe they'll just end with Flicker Wisp.
This is classic Legacy. Oh, that's really good. I don't even have to play my port, actually, as well.
Yeah, we don't even have to play around Daze!
Yeah.
They might have force at this point. Nope. Okay, they're dead.
Well, how do we deal with Null Rod? I put Batterskull into play and ignore it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think getting any of their equipment is just wrong.
Yeah, I mean, they have Null Rod. None of the other equipment do anything. I guess they could find blue source exactly this turn and bolt the Stoneforge.
So, Burbclock, there's 3 Skyclaves in our deck is the actual answer. If we wanted to kill the Null Rod. Technically, Flicker Wisp removes it temporarily, but I don't think we're interested in doing that anytime soon.
We did it. We won. We just wasteland for their blue source and they find it too. This just game.
Should I just waste their waste? Or does that not make any sense?
Nah, just hit them. As soon as they'll get 1 use out of the blue source, and you waste the blue source.
Alright. So I think this person probably did what a lot of people think or used to be correct, which is side out all of your forces. And I'm so anti that, personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should I play around Stifle? Probably.
I guess. Sure.
It doesn't really matter, I guess, one way or the other, because if they have a braid for a thing, it's just going to die 100% to that all the time, right?
Yeah, what was the term that you used in round 1?
Garbage. It's garbage time.
Yeah, it's
you click buttons and they die.
Yep.
That one's probably safer for Batterskull on average.
Nice. Ponder, dead.
This was your prediction. They get 1 use, right? And they chose to shuffle.
They cast their blue spell, get wastelanded, and die.
Play port? Why would... If you play port, they waste the port end step. That doesn't work. You absolutely should not play port. Cool.
Sick. We even have a mom.
Yeah, what's up, Muno card? We're doing well. This is I think probably about to be a wrap on this game, but obviously like something weird could happen. I don't know. I can't even think about what it could be from Rogue for them to win from this standpoint.
Miracle Terminus.
Well, now you said that, that's probably going to happen. I'm going to hate you. Oh, they do have forces in. Never mind. I guess they just didn't draw on any because they couldn't cantrip, right? This game, it looks interesting. What is it called? It's called Garbage Time Game.
Yeah, garbage time. We got him.
Well, I mean, 4-1 is still a reasonable record for a theory crafted D&T list. That was very much theory craft, right?
Yeah, I mean, we ended up with like a pretty stock list. Like, I'm pretty sure if I wouldn't open up by 75, we'd probably be like 70 cards the same.
Garbage Time, 8K. Oh yeah, I looked at that game. It looked like something I was not interested in. Did you see it, John?
I haven't watched anything, but I've heard pretty bad things about it. I was almost interested in like picking it up because I'm a real sucker for like Diablo, but
yeah,
it just came out right at the same time Monster Hunter comes out, so I'm just like, nah, I'm never playing.
Well, it's funny because Day 9 like is pro WotC, and he even like trash talked it on his stream, so you know it has to be real bad.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, we beat Elves and lost to Giant Stompy, which is probably the exact opposite of what you would expect to happen.
Yep, you lose good matchups and win bad matchups.
We didn't play Mindbreak Trap. I mean, kind of felt like we didn't need to. I kind of hate Mindbreak in these decks as well. I think it's like a little bit weird and sometimes costly to do so.
Yeah, it's a really awkward card. It just like you kind of sometimes want to try to like play the best cards versus Doomsday, which are like Deafening Silence and Mindbreak Trap. The issue is that neither of those cards are particularly good regardless. So I think the better answer to Doomsday is pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, probably. Who would you board in Mindbreak Trap against? Vivarist, that is a known Storm player. So we would cite it in versus you, but we didn't play it. Yeah, I'm playing Legacy, although I probably am not going to play another league because I'm kind of tired now. I didn't realize this league took quite a while. We played a lot of really grindy games.
Yeah, D&T leagues take quite a while.
It's kind of funny because people act like lands is really slow, but I remember like actually finishing some lands leagues in like under 90 minutes, which is like super fast. And the reality was no one could beat Merit Wage back then. That's why I would just like combo my opponent every game and it would last like 10 minutes. But probably the longest lands games I've played, I don't know if you've had this experience, are just like casting Punishing Fire like 20 times because they surgical to your Dark Depths or some shit.
I've definitely been on the receiving end of upwards of 20 Punishing Fires.
It's probably really unpleasant.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Because you know you're dead, but you just kind of hope that you can squeak through some window to like kill them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, combo with Merit Wage, that sounds fun. Funny you would say that. I actually think probably lands is okay. It did win a challenge last weekend, I think, in Mention T's hand.
It won the Sunday challenge.
Yeah. I looked at the list and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty stock. They finally shaved a Valkyrie Exploration. I think I agree with that. It's just kind of a clunker. You can't really play 4 of that card.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not like, I mean, the real thing is you actually want to draw as many of that card as possible versus D&T because it's like actually a one-man machine versus deck. Like, you have to kill it with Skyclave, otherwise it gets out of hand very quickly.
Yeah. It's a really good, powerful angle versus Graveyard Hate for lands to have access to.
Why aren't we playing Chalice of the Void? Because it doesn't really synergize that well with this deck. I have played Chalice in versions of this deck before, but I think currently the way you want to approach those matchups are to just play Hate Bears instead of Chalice.
Yeah. Chalice of the Void is good when you have 4 Ancient Tombs in your deck,
Yep.
Chalice of Wood is a lot worse in this deck that has all lands to tap for 1 mana. There was a point in the meta where Chalice was good, and it lined up really well versus specifically the combo decks being Storm and the premier control deck being Miracles,
Yep.
where you could just play a Chalice on 1 on turn 2 versus Miracles would be good, and you could use Chalice on 0 as your hate card versus Storm. But it's basically only good in Death and Taxes when you hit that sweet spot of powerful versus combo and powerful versus control, and we've basically never had that meta since then.
Yeah, sometimes I troll XJ in our Facebook chat because I just post this 5-0 list that has Ancient Tomb and Palace Jailer, and he hates it.
I registered Ancient Tomb at GP Niagara Falls.
How many, though?
1.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Aliar, it makes sense for White Eldrazi to play Chalice because their deck has a lot of soul lands. This deck does not have many soul lands. Like, it has literally 0. But Chalice of the Void correlates to Ancient Tomb and City of Traders. And sometimes Chrome Mox, I guess. But it's hard for an Eldrazi deck to play Chrome Mox because it doesn't actually do anything on the
I
deck.
think White Eldrazi sometimes plays Diamond.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think it's not great because it's so...
Because, it forces you to just play a million lands.
I think what actually happens when you play Moxheim in those decks is you increase your variance more, if I had to guess. What does Flaxstones of Trocare... Oh, great. It's XJ's favorite question. What does Flaxstones do? According to him, it causes you to get wastelanded when you rip out and be sad. But what it actually does in normal games is when you Cataclysm, you get to keep an extra land, essentially.
Yeah.
It's kind of minor.
I'm fairly sure I could count the number of times I've resolved a Cataclysm with the Flagstones in play on one hand.
You know what's funny? There was a team tournament I played with my friend locally in probably right after Khans of Tarkir came out, and we decided it was a weird format. You could only have Delve cards in one of your seats, and it was standard Modern Legacy. So we just gave all of the Delve cards to our Modern player, and we told our Legacy player to play D&T because we thought that was the best use of resources. So what actually happened was he played this deck, but he had an Ancient Den and an E-Tutor package in his sideboard. On the theory, sometimes you might want to E-Tutor for Ancient Den in a post-board game. How bad does that sound?
Vamp Tutor for my second land drop. Oof.
It sounds like you're not a fan.
It's... I do kind of miss the E-Tutor package that used to show up sometimes.
To be fair, this person has not played D&T probably for 5 years now.
Yeah, that's probably the last time E-Tutor was playable. Probably even longer than that.
Yeah. He started buying Imperial Recruiters at one point, if you remember that version of the deck.
Oh, yeah. Before Recruiter of the Guard came out and completely obsoleted that plan.
That was kind of sad. I kind of think that was a cool deck and had very differing matchups in a lot of ways.
Magnus a really sweet card. The real reason to play red, though, is Pia and Karan. Fuck, I love that card. That card's so fucking sweet.
I've read your rants about it. What John wants more than anything else in the world is a sweet legend that costs about 4 and makes value that you can Caracas back.
Yeah, I just want a Pia and Karan. It's totally it would work in the color pie. You just take the fucking sack shock ability and make it anything else.
Yo, what's up? Insane.
Give me a legendary Blade Splicer.
So Venser? Wait, Venser doesn't do that. Venser's blue.
Not white.
Yeah, it has to be white. Hold on.
Yeah.
Where am I filtering?
I would play a mono white Venser.
Oh, I'm in the wrong view. There is a card that I kind of wonder, and I think they could print it. What if they just color shifted Pia Noir? If you know what that card is. Or is that too low impact for you?
It might be playable. It's literally only a 2/2 that makes a 1/1 flyer.
No, you can sack your Scrap Heap Scrounger a million times to make things not block. I'm trolling a little bit, but I've actually assembled lethal with that ability a bunch of times with Scrap Heap.
What's the reason for not playing Scrublands and Marshflats in this deck? What's the reason for playing Scrublands and Marshflats? We don't have any black cards. Wait, we didn't even end up playing the Surgical. We should have played a Horizon Canopy, Jarvis.
I was waiting for you to realize that.
I got baited.
No, because, okay, Okay, to be fair, it wasn't a full-on troll. It was only a slight
it's bluff
troll.
equity now. We're bluffing the graveyard decks that we have surgical by playing the silent clearing. Is that it?
Look, maybe I tricked you a little bit, but I actually thought we were going to play surgical for a bit, to be fair, so.
Yeah, I mean, there was a chance, but also, just put Horizon Canopy in your deck. That was sweet.
Okay, to be clear, I do agree Horizon Canopy looks better, because it also has the sweet Future Sight, like, weird border. I assume you use this one then, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting the one on the far left in paper, because that one's pretty sweet art.
I'm not gonna lie, every expedition makes me mad because I have no idea what land it is. Is that fair?
That's understandable.
Like,
it was really bad when they first came out.
Like,
all the fetch lands were just total nonsense.
Oh yeah, well, we can go look at that. We'll be done in like 10 minutes. I promise, Asen. I can never pronounce your name, and I'm really sorry. It's my fault.
Aishanaz. Oh yeah, the store closes at 10. It's 8:30 for us though, so.
Okay, 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes of bullshitting, then we'll be done. I promise.
Yeah, we're good.
Because we did play for a bunch of hours, and it is nice to see you again in the chat. Monster Hunter cocktails. Well, what exactly is a Monster Tail cocktail? That is the important question in life.
It's just they got posted on the Monster Hunter subreddit. Some person made a bunch of cocktails that are like thematically supposed to be like similar in color to like the some of the potions that you take.
Nice. Oh, she said she'll allow it. See, best waifu.
She's only allowing it because she likes you, Jarvis.
I know.
If I was streaming by myself, she'd be like, "Nah, we're gone."
Yeah. See, it's kind of funny. I am actually kind of a troll, but I don't troll to be mean. I just say things that you have to think about that are kind of nonsensical. Although in private, sometimes I call my friends dumb. You've been on the receiving end of that.
Sometimes in private, you say Thalia sucks, and that's mean.
Yeah, but Thalia was insane tonight, so I don't know what you want.
Yeah, Thalia was so good. Think about all the times Thalia blocked scavenging use this league.
Let's be clear. That could have been any 2-mana 2/1. It just happened that one was correct because it was legendary.
And because we had 3 of them in our hand and no other creature.
And also that card is kind of horrifically bad in that matchup, so I would say Thalia sucks for herself. So.
Yeah, Thalia does suck for herself, so I'll give you that one.
Nice. I look forward to Victor's. You know, it's weird. I haven't had like real cocktails in so long. I don't know if that's. I guess maybe if you go to the store and buy it, but I don't keep any at my house really, so it's kind of weird. All right. Okay, one last important question. How do you feel about opening chests?
I don't open a lot of chests. I have like 300 or something sitting in my.
Yo, that could be anything. It could even be a boat.
I open chests to get enough play points to continue to play Magic, and that's about it.
Oh, so you're eventually going to get inflation. Or eventually what's probably going to happen is you're going to sell chests and like cash out or something.
Yeah, as soon as like if like ticks spike really high. Like I sold all my chests and ticks like when ticks were like 97 cents or some nonsense. They were like really high sometime last year. And I like totally sold out of all of my ticks and chests, and then I just built them back up.
Fair.
I'm not Daniel levels.
Oh gosh, I mean, you saw his win rate from that spreadsheet. It's kind of crazy. Like, he's obviously clearly very good. The problem is, if you try to have him explain why he's good, it's completely incomprehensible. It just... I think I mentioned this to you before. He actually is a lot like Seth in that regard. Like, he's clearly doing things right. You don't know why they're right. It's just incomprehensible. Oh man, I have all of these Times for All draft cards. Including your favorite card.
This is incomprehensible, not just explaining why he's good.
Foil Sulfur Elemental.
That's rude.
There was a Celestial Crusader on here, which is like the natural enemy of Sulfur Elemental.
Yeah, one of them is way better than the other.
Sulfur Elemental, I think, is way better, right?
Yeah, weird.
You ever play Social Crusader?
No.
I've seen it before. It doesn't look particularly good. The one good thing is, did you know it randomly has split second?
Yes, I did know that.
Okay. Well, that's why I've seen it played before.
Yeah.
I have a foil hex mage that I'm sitting on because I think it's going to be worth a bunch.
Oh wow, that is hot. Those
Oh,
old
and
border images.
this one got past me too, and this is like 5 tickets. It's also just like
Yeah.
kind of a good card, you know. I'm sure you respect the Thraben B.
Thraben Inspector's sweet. I thought about picking them up on paper, and I looked up their price, so I was like, nah. I'm never actually going to register these, so.
It seems not good enough for Legacy and fine for Modern.
Yeah, it's never going to be playable in Legacy. It's occasionally playable in Modern.
Sunlance, classic. And you know what, chat? If anyone wants to force me to open chest, this is a good time to sub. You always have to segue into that shill. Follows or subs makes me open chests.
Dang, I can't sub to you again until April 4th. Unlucky.
Well, that's pretty soon. You might be tired of Monster Hunter by then. Probably not. Let's be real.
I'll show up to the stream to sub and then leave to play more Monster Hunter.
Fernando, I'm not going to do a draft right now. I'm probably going to wait 2 more minutes to see if anyone subs, and then probably call it. But I do appreciate everyone being here. Sweet big raid by Nassif. Obviously, one of the greatest of all time. Do you know Nassif won a Legacy GP?
I did not.
His sideboard was 15 one-ofs, but it's cheating because one of them was Enlightened Tutor.
How many of the other 14 were artifacts or enchantments?
Quite a bunch. There was like a COP red or some shit in this. Or no, not COP red. I think, Alright. You know what? I'll show you this deck list. Because, I guess you are a Magic baby in some ways. Only some ways, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play competitive Magic didn't get deep into competitive Magic for a while.
Oh,
yeah, I was not playing in 2009, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a 4-color counterbalance top deck because that, and it played Daze, which was actually pretty common for counterbalance to play back then. But then you look at some of the other numbers, like 2 Ponder, looks weird. Main deck Croson Grip. So there was no COP Red, but there was like an E-Plague, an Energy Flux, a Planar Void because Leyline of the Void didn't exist.
Oh man, E-Tutor for Threads.
And there's a random Kataki because I guess he expected more affinity.
One of Kataki that you can't tutor for.
But you have top Brainstorm Ponder, you'll probably
one of Burned and Forged Center.
Yeah, Nassif is an interesting character.
People played fast and loose with deck building back then.
That's true.
Remember when Miracles just didn't play 4 Ponders ever?
Oh, Fernando's asking, is this still on J4 top 8? No, that's Columbus in 2010. And that is the one Drew Levin got DQ'd from.
How do you just encyclopedic knowledge of all these?
Well, J4 is a good friend of mine. J4 is the one who sold me the Tabernacle. And he's also the one who got the Snoopy Glyphs band because I got them as a birthday present for him. You remember the Snoopy Glyphs?
Yeah, you've showed me.
Yeah, they're sweet. Unfortunately, you can't play with those, but you're allowed to play with fucking Alternate Art Dreadbore.
Completely unreadable.
Yeah. Alright. We will raid someone, and you know what? I will let you pick who do you want to support because you've been here so graciously for many hours.
Who's even streaming?
We got Honorog, but he's probably playing some lame deck.
Hey, I can see a Baleful Strix in his hand.
So you're off it.
Anyone else play Legacy?
Pit.
Legacy pick Goblins versus Maverick. We can go raid them.
All right. Yep, I'm down for that. And
I respect both Goblins and Maverick.
So do I. You know that. You literally saw me play Maverick. Well, I guess you didn't see me, but you know I played Maverick last Tuesday.
Yeah, I think I stopped by for a tiny bit that day.
That's sweet. It's like a bigger D&T, except not really. It plays very differently.
Yeah.
All right. See y'all. Thanks. I'll be back tomorrow. See ya.